Working. Welcome to Postgame Live. We're still pretty hot off the presses, really. Geelong and Hawthorn, obviously a pretty exciting win for the Cats, as I'm sure everyone here is still pretty pumped up about. I'm already seeing some people in the chat tonight. Please make sure that you share all those thoughts, all that excitement around the game tonight. And of course, if you haven't already spotted it, I will pin it in here as well. The link, if you want to join in the conversation tonight, is going in the chat right now. Boom, there it is. Those on Facebook and YouTube should see that. Apologies to those on Twitter. For some reason, it doesn't publish out that way. So feel free, jump in, join the conversation if you haven't already. Seeing a bit of love for Brian already, who's obviously going to be nursing a fairly sizable headache, you would imagine. We'll talk more about that incident, I'm sure, in great depth throughout the course of the show. But it was a great win. There's something I want to shout out first, and I'm going to have to get some screen sharing going on. And the subject in question here is actually sitting in the waiting room, ready to chat fairly shortly. So let me try and get things up and running here. Here's a little sneak peek at the Hoops Crew Discord and a photo that got shared after an awesome meeting early on in the piece. I just wanted to promote this little moment that I can see him in the background watching. Brendan published it on the Discord shortly after. It was awesome to get to catch up with both Bianca and Declan, and shout out at Brendan from a distance, saying hi. So I'm sure, mate, at some point we'll get a chance to chat properly in person, but or like face to face, I should say. But that was one of my real highlights of the day. So I just thought I'd quickly kick things off on a really strong positive note there, talking about that. It was awesome to meet you guys again in person. All right, let's kick things off. I am going to start with Ben, who was sitting in the chat first of everyone. So Ben, I'll pull you in now, mate. How's things? How are you feeling off the back of a Geelong 7-point win against the Hawks, the old rivals?
Oh, very exciting stuff. It was a great win. I thought our midfield did really well, especially in the last quarter. And Tom Atkins, that was the reason we won. I thought Sean Manor was probably his. I had a few questionable moments where he tried twice to sort of get past the opponent and got tackled holding the ball, but he stood up really well. I thought it's probably his best game he's ever played, and just in the context of the game, he did really well. Tom Atkins, again, he's just a heart and soul.
Just a
player.
Beast, right?
Yeah, he's great.
Best season so far from him, I'd say.
I'd say as well, the back line was still a bit down today. I know, we were able to stop him from scoring and did all right, but I just thought, back line was a bit down today at times.
Now, apologies. Forgive my ignorance for a sec. Were you in attendance or were you watching on the TV?
I was at the game, yeah.
I don't know if you've had, potentially more opportunity to study the tape or had a different line of sight, or maybe you just had the advantage that I didn't have, which was two screaming kids hanging off my side throughout the entire game. In that first half, when Jack Gunston was getting on the end of the ball a lot, I've heard, listening to Fox Footy and trying to catch up on as much as I possibly can since, people were connecting Sam de Koning to him in the first half. But every time I saw Jack Gunston get on the end of a lead and mark it, Zach Guthrie was the one trailing.
Yeah, I thought that as well.
Can someone, especially, and I'm seeing Brendan nodding in the background as well, maybe it was just Gary Lyon getting his names mixed up in the moment there when he was talking about it. Maybe there's something that they've seen that I haven't. Maybe the perspective of the sitting up where they were or looking at the TV screens, whatever it happens to be. But to my eye, it was Zach Guthrie. And don't get me wrong, Zach Guthrie's had a phenomenal season, so I'm not going to hang on him if he's had some rough moments in this particular one. And obviously Jack Gunston is an absolute gun still. And he kicked 6 goals last week, and probably could have kicked 6 today had he not put 3 of them out on the full. But I feel like it was Zach Guthrie, and not so much Sam de Koning.
A few times. And Zach's not typically like the one-on-one defender. He's more that half-back sort of player who runs and it takes uncontested intercept marks pretty much. I thought it was a bit strange that he was on Gunston a few times.
We've got a comment here just saying O'Sullivan was on Gunston a bit. I felt like that was kind of a shift in the second half, but I certainly noticed that a bit more in the second half.
I thought Gunston went a bit more quiet in the second half. In the first half when O'Sullivan was on him, yeah.
But I guess honing in on some more positive things. I think you're right in terms of the defense, and there was some moments, and as was highlighted, Jezelenko kind of shouted out there. Obviously, we're a bit off, but no Cole Jasny, no Jack Henry. Cole presumably on track to come back next week. It seems like they were being a little bit conservative there. Jack Henry, I mean, we're managing to bank wins in this period where he's away, which has been fantastic. Hopefully that continues. But what did you make? I guess in terms of some of the real positives, what were some of the real standouts for you?
Well, I don't think we had many players that kind of like it was more of a team effort. We didn't really I didn't really feel we had many players sort of like stand out. I thought it was more a good team effort.
Team effort.
But I'll say, yeah, Tom Atkins was really good in the midfield, just the way he can get the ball out. Smith as well looked good again, just the way he can find space and and probably Dangerfield again.
Oh, how good is he? He is in white hot form, Paddy Dangerfield. And I put up the video the other day about All Australian status, and I'm just going to continue to double down on it when he plays games like he did today. Big moments, he really stood up. I mean, that snap from the boundary was fantastic, but even that intercept late in the piece that then ultimately set up, I think it was maybe our final goal in the end. But the way he cut the ball off there, and then was that hugely important chink in the chain there, or link in the chain, I should say. He's all these comparisons that people have been making between him and Lee Matthews when Lee Matthews kind of went forward. I think it all applies at the moment. And I think the Geelong forward line itself, I think, is still learning to adapt a little bit. And I've spoken about this a little bit. I think the forward line is now trying to work out how to play their game with Danger being in the mix. I think there's been a few that have struggled a little bit. The Ollie, I guess there's probably three in particular, I think, that have really stood out, being Ollie, Henry, Tyson Stengel to an extent, though he was really effective when it came to goal assists and score involvements today. And then, of course, Shannon Neal as the big up-and-coming key forward that's meant to be coming through, and then all of a sudden Paddy Dangerfield comes in there and is kind of a magnet. I think has probably been a bit of a spanner in the mix for him. But I think they'll all work that out. And one of the things that impressed me most, and actually I'm just seeing Jezelenko potentially referring to this, I'll pin it while we chat, was that like he didn't have a great day, Shannon Neal. And you know he had some not so great moments, but in that final quarter in particular, the way he just put his body on the line, flew for marks, clunked a couple, brought others down. I thought he was really, really important when the game was on the line. And there's that old adage of the tall players don't get any smaller as the game goes on. And I think he just kept throwing himself at it, and it really paid off, especially late in the piece.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I thought he really, it was, well, he didn't kick a goal, of course, but I thought just in that last quarter, he took some really good clutch marks, which was able to help us get forward and score.
Were there any other... Oh, sorry, go on.
No, that's all right. You go.
No, go for it. Because I think you were heading there anyway. I was just continuing some observations from the game.
He just was coming forward to the ball, and then we'd have a Dangerfield at sort of full forward, I guess. Yeah,
and look, I think they'll work it out. It was interesting. I don't know if you noticed Ollie Henry coming off the wing on a few occasions. For actually, probably a good chunk of the game, he was coming off the wing there at different stages, which was an interesting change up, I guess, into find different ways to engage him in the game.
I reckon in the second quarter he was in the back line for a bit as well. I don't know if that was him just trying to get him into the game a bit or something. But I noticed that a bit as well.
I might see if I can bring up his heat map at some point while we're chatting to get a bit of a look at. But it was good to see him kind of getting engaged in the game in that way. Obviously, I don't think his intent has ever been a concern, but his ability to kind of win possession of late has been something of a challenge for him. He's and again, I think he's just struggling a little bit with this new forward line blend with Danger in there, and it'll all kind of sort itself out in time. But I'll keep messing around. He's still too important within the Geelong mix to drop him. I know some people have suggested that maybe he's kind of on the fringe, maybe not necessarily out, but getting kind of close. I would want him in that team because that if the ball goes forward, he's going to make a really good contest of it. And
yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's always
not necessarily lose the marking contest, which I think is important.
He's doing his best, I guess. He's not going out there trying not to do anything.
Yeah, no, I think he's thrown his all at it. What about, I guess we'll kind of go through some of those names that maybe are on the fringe and get some of your thoughts on some of those players. So we've just spoken about Ollie Henry. I'm seeing some comments here, actually. M. King is suggesting Closey's a liability. And Shadu then kind of follows up there saying probably not played an AFL game of that intensity before. What do you think about Ted Closey? Now, of course, he came in limited game time with Grymeyes going out. And again, I'm sure there'll be a lot to be said about Grymeyes throughout the course of the night and that incident with Connor Nash. But what do you make of Ted Closey in the 33% of game time that he played?
Yeah, I can't really judge him too harshly because he did come on as the sub and only played 33% game time. Probably didn't. I thought I noticed him a couple times get some key possessions. I thought for some reason.
I feel like he won the ball well, but there was a few times where he kind of then butchered the disposal afterwards.
Yeah, that was the case.
And I think that then kind of links in really well to Shadu's point, where Closey's probably not played a game of that sort of intensity before, and I'd agree with that. And I think every player has to have their moment where, regardless of the team, by the way, like they will play a game of that sort of crazy intensity, and it kind of changes them and their football in a way.
Would have been him and O'Sullivan's first ever game at the G, and against that sort of crowd and stuff. So I know O'Sullivan was alright, I thought, but probably I'm not sure about Closey for next week. Maybe I'm not really sure who they bring in, especially since Myers won't be there.
Look, you'd imagine Cole Jasny comes back in probably. Now, it's not obviously like for like or anything like that, but you'd imagine he is probably due to come back in. I've seen the comments there. I mean, Jack Martin still hasn't played a VFL game yet. He's still a little way off. I did see that. Where is it? Jackie's shouted that one out. But, I don't know. It's going to be a weird one in terms of a like for Gry, and that maybe is what keeps Ted Closey in the mix. There's obviously some others kicking the door down. Jai Clark, ever since he got dropped, has been he's had the ball on a string, really. He's been getting high 20s and low 30 disposals every week since. So he's doing all he can to get another gig. We've obviously seen in terms of the emergencies for this game. We also had George Stevens and Ollie Wiltshire. And Ollie is potentially that one. If you're talking about as close as a like for like as you can possibly get, exchanging someone who's small forward, got that goal kicking sense, that's probably the move if you just talk about position based things, but there's more to it than that for sure.
If Wiltshire does play, probably does start as the sub, I guess.
Yeah, potentially.
And then Closey starts on. But then again, if Cole Jasny comes in, or does he just come in for Myers straight away?
He probably just comes in for Myers, and you potentially just shuffle some of the other pieces around a little bit as a result. And Ollie Henry, who spent a little bit of time on the wing and half back, maybe goes back to the forward line to allow, I don't know, someone who's playing off the half back line to go up to the wing. Tom Stewart maybe goes and play. I'm just throwing a name out there, but Tom Stewart maybe just goes and plays off the wing, for example.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that's the move, but hypothetical.
Yeah, I hope Stewart is okay. He didn't really look too great today at times. Looked a bit slow. I don't think he took any intercept marks or anything, and looked a bit slow at times, I guess. But I'm sure he'll gain that back.
Yeah, he didn't look. I'm just quickly checking the intercept possessions now. I know that's not intercept marks specifically, but it's the stat I've got at hand. Where are you? Tom Stewart had 3 intercept possessions, not necessarily intercept marks, but intercept possessions. I'll see if I can kind of fiddle around and get a specific intercept marks. Hang on, there we go. Bring that up. Where's it gone? Intercept marks. Yeah, you're right. Tom Stewart had none. And Jezelenko kind of jumps in there saying, Stewart's worst game in a while. Look, he didn't disgrace himself. But it wasn't his best game. And look, I actually heard Chris Scott say it. He just thankfully before the show finished got to hear him chatting to Gary and Jared on AFL 360, and he was talking about the conditions maybe being a bit worse in there than it perhaps seemed for. Like, I didn't think much of the conditions sitting in the crowd. I'm sure you may be similar, but he seemed to think, and the players seemed to think apparently it was a little bit blustery. And the thing he really pointed at was actually that moment with, I think it was in the last quarter now, where Tom Stewart absolutely made the right call to make a beeline, leaving James Sicily to go and intercept the ball, and then the ball just went like it just floated over his head.
It's just unlucky.
Yeah. And it just seems like maybe the conditions played a little bit of a part in that. He suggested, some Hawthorn players have kind of faced similar issues at different points, and we benefited. So I'll have to rewatch the game to kind of get a bit of a sense for that. But
You notice as well, a lot of our players like slipped over just at times, like on the field, I guess.
I saw some commentary suggesting that there was maybe one side of the ground in particular that was happening.
It's because like players can't wear like studs in their boots or anything. It's something with the boots, like they can't specifically wear something anymore, which is causing like players to slip over a lot.
I mean, there's the old, you can't have your metal stops and those sorts of things, but yeah, sometimes it's a bit hard to get a bit of a read on it, whether you go with some sort of longer stop or whether you're going with the blade style molds. There's a whole bunch of different options out there, and I think sometimes they just misread it. And also there's probably a little bit of a creatures of habit sort of component to it as well. No, these are the type of boots I play in, and it's going to have to be cataclysmic sort of change in the weather for me to do anything else. Rarely do you get a game where it's absolutely hosing down the entire time, and that's probably the time where they do change.
Yeah.
Anything else they back themselves in. But yeah, I think you're right. There was a little bit of slipping over at different stages as well. So what's the chat got to... as always, I'm seeing Chris and Jezelenko and then Gary all talking about Mitch Hardy.
You know who I would love to have on our AFL? Kruger.
I reckon that's becoming a distinct possibility in this mid-season draft.
Yeah.
Nothing to base that on, of course. That's just a gut feel. But
you never know.
B722 says, does Sicily get an invite to Kaji this year? Easily our best today. Look, it wasn't a great day for him, but I think he kind of suffered in a similar sort of way that I think Tom Stewart did. And I think he actually probably best represents what Chris Scott was trying to get at.
I don't think it was really
kind of suffered in the same way.
I don't think it was really a good day for. Wasn't too high scoring, but I didn't really notice too many like intercept marks being taken and sort of like good defensive plays at times, I guess, for both teams. So yeah.
Talk to me about so Daniel Nelson. He's just suggested that Nevitt looked like he struggled with the pace today at times. Talk to me about Mitch Nevitt. Your thoughts there. Now I know, like everyone is well aware that I am a big Mitch Nevitt fan. But so before I guess tee off, talk to me about Mitch Nevitt today. What'd you make of his performance?
What position was he predominantly in? I'm not really sure.
He's mostly playing in the midfield today.
Midfield, okay, yeah. I think he only had like this sort of 7 touches or something.
7 touches from 62% of game time.
Yeah, it's not too great, specifically when. And I thought he's a really good tackler as well, Nevitt. But at times today he just couldn't.
What do you have there? He had 4 tackles, so that's a pretty solid output.
Yeah, but I noticed in the first game he had 21 and 11 tackles. I just thought today, he just couldn't really get into it too much. I think he still should stay in the team, I guess, because I'm not really sure if anyone who comes in, but I'm sure Nevitt will be great in the next game against Carlton.
I think the thing that he's got to look at in his game at the moment. Now, again, I am a big fan of Mitch Nevitt, and I think he's got a lot to offer for the Cats. He got his hands on the ball a lot more than what those 7 disposals will suggest. There was a lot of times where especially I noticed in the last quarter, which is a great credit to him because the stakes were at their absolute highest in that last quarter. He was getting his hands on the ball, but he just couldn't break his arms free to actually dispose of it and get wrapped up. And it would lead to a secondary bounce or whatever the case happened to be. So it's not the worst outcome in the world, but he was, it felt like on a number of occasions he was this close. Like he got his hands on the ball, which is more than half the battle in that scenario, but then he just couldn't get his arms out of it to actually dispose of the ball. And that kind of, I wouldn't say necessarily brought him unstuck, but I was certainly hearing the murmurings from people around me in the MCC. They're going, Nevitt, he's not, come on. Like, I would rather him get his hands on the ball and just be unable to clear it than to have his opponent get the ball and run away. Which obviously we've spoken about this for years, as Geelong fans, that the midfield has kind of caused us some headaches. We've struggled to win clearances, those sort of things. Well, he's getting the ball. He's just not quite breaking away with it yet. And I would much rather have possession and give us another chance than to be part of a midfield unit that coughs it up. So
I reckon there was like a few minutes of where the ball was just like you were saying, it was just whoever got the ball was getting tackled straight away. It'd just be a stoppage. I reckon that happened for like 2 to 3 minutes. Like it just stayed in the middle, stoppage after stoppage. We probably never, was getting the ball, but just couldn't quite get it out.
Yeah, and I think it's just all just a natural part of his development that'll come in time, I'm sure. A little point that Refused TM here has shouted out. The club website is saying it's a record crowd today. Yeah, the 88,000 is a record for, and I actually have to check my Paul James show notes here because Ben thankfully gave me the old data when I was doing the preview literally yesterday, and I don't remember the details, but it is a record for Geelong and Hawthorn Easter Monday games, and I believe it's potentially a record for home and away matches between the two teams as well. But let me double check that because I did talk about it literally last night, and I can bring up that info really quickly. Where are we? So the current record for Easter Monday matches, the record going into this was 80,222. That obviously was eclipsed by over 8,000 today. The highest ever home and away crowd between the two teams was round 17, 2008. The Jimmy Bartell kicking it behind after the siren game. That was 86,179 people that attended that day. Of course, finals are a different beast altogether on top of that. But yeah, it's the highest home and away, highest Easter Monday attended game for the Cats and the Hawks.
I think the Bartell point was in 09.
Oh, was that 09? Oh, yeah, of course. Hang on. Am I misreading it? Yeah, it would be, of course. Because we lost the grand final in 08. So, yeah, it was after.
That was the game where Hodge turned it over and Geelong won.
Round Geelong Hawthorn. Oh, I don't even want to. Round 17, 2008. We will have won it because we only lost one home and away game that year. Where are we? Yeah. 88-77, we won that game. 86,179 attended. Yeah, that's, sorry, my mistake talking about Jimmy Bartell because you're right. That was the following year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, where are we? Oh, sorry. Go on. I'll skim through some comments as we go.
We got through our biggest attendance last year against Carlton, which was 87,000, and then 88,000 for this game, our home game. So, yeah, we get an MCG home game next year. It's aimed for 90,000, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, especially if the Hawks continue to kind of grow as a club. I mean, in terms of like an on-field performance, no reason why not. Especially, I think if it's a Hawthorn. I mean, especially if it's a Hawthorn home game, which I presume it will be next time we play them. Yeah. That probably helps as well. Gets a few more of their members in the door, and then being the locals, that probably pumps the number up a little bit higher as well. Interesting looking back at this team sheet from now that 2008 game and just seeing some of the different names on the list. Oh, geez, a lot's changed. So what else have we got in the comments here? We've got Gary suggesting that Reece Stanley played really well today. What do you think about Reece Stanley's performance?
I thought it was good, yeah. Just the
kicked a goal early.
He can tap it out and was getting forward, taking some good marks. Like Meek might have dominated him on like the stat sheet, I sort of guess, and fantasy and super coach points, but no, I thought it was still pretty even between those two.
Look, I think you're right. Statistically, Meek had him covered, and clearances he's got 7 versus Reece Stanley's 4. He had 19 disposals to 9. Almost double the number of hitouts. But I think you're right. That doesn't necessarily paint the whole picture, and especially Reece going forward and kicking that goal early, instantly just had as a ruckman, you've got to adjust a little bit. Off the back of it, and he was really important in breaking even some contests and just bringing the ball to ground. I thought he was again really, really good. I'll echo what Gary said there. I think it was a pretty good game from him, and obviously he gets a bit of a spell as well through the ruck with the likes of Shannon Neal coming in. So
just with Stanley,
also I think did a couple.
Just with Stan, we've just got to have a ruckman that is big and get the hit outs and
can stay fit.
Doesn't need to be like the Max score and have 25 touches, 35 hit outs, that sort of thing, and just buff the stat sheet, just do his best, and yeah.
Shadoo's just dropped in here that apparently Sicily was having a cry in the rooms afterwards. Chef's kiss. I haven't seen that footage yet, but I mean,
I think we can all.
We can all appreciate that a little bit as Geelong fans. That said, my daughter was like she's 4 years old. She was beside herself, happy when the siren went, and then when she got in the car, this is, I guess, I'm not going to say I'm any parent of the year. This will be my wife's doing, instilling some really good qualities in her. But she's getting really excited. We've had to, she's beyond exhausted. Her bedtime was an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago, and we've just gotten her to bed not long before I started the show tonight. But then she breaks into tears at one point because she's realised, but that means all the Hawks players lost. Now I couldn't sympathise. There's far too much heartache associated with Hawthorn. There was not a compassionate part of me whatsoever. But kids, huh? she was so happy for the Cats, and then she started crying because all the Hawks players would have been sad. I'm like, that's sorry, I can't follow you here. This is not a place I'm willing to go to.
Shows she has a heart and stuff, and cares
which
about
links in here to Kingy, who's also kind of shouted out, and this now does take us to the Brian Myers moment here. He was disappointed there was no remonstration on Connor Nash for taking out Brian, and people saying he didn't mean it. Now, I don't think there's I can't say personally I've seen anyone saying that he didn't mean it. The way he apparently responded, and I was listening to Sam Mitchell in that interview with not his post-match one, but the one that was with Fox Footy afterwards on AFL 360, he seemed to reckon that Nash was pretty shaken by the whole thing. Seems like a real Tom Stewart after he got Dion Prestia sort of moment where he absolutely recognised the heft of what he did. Yes, there was not a clenched fist, but that was it was very much the old-fashioned coat hanger or roundhouse sort of maneuver and got him. I am surprised that no one remonstrated, but I did hear some speculation that maybe the players didn't actually recognise it for the action for what it actually was at the time. And so
Sean Manor said that after the game on Triple M. He said, we thought that it was like a football act and a complete accident and stuff. I agree with that. I don't think he definitely did not mean to do that. But I thought no one strayed with him, and sometimes you don't need to because the game's in the balance. You don't want to be causing fights and stuff. You just got to move on, try and get the win.
And honestly, for me, I think the most important thing, I think it was maybe Shannon Neal that was there at the time. He was the one that stood over Grind. He was just very quickly getting his hands in there. It's just get someone out. To me, I think the most important thing is not that we're trying to beat up on the bloke who did it, but that we're actually supporting our teammate and making sure that he gets the help he needs to be okay. Because I mean, in the moment, I was sitting in the complete opposite side of the ground on the opposite wing to what happened. I actually didn't realize that there was a round arm involved in the whole thing. I thought he'd just gone for the ball and just kind of collected straight on his chest and been knocked senseless, which shows the angle I had. And the TV cameras, they didn't show replays on the big screen once they cottoned on very quickly to what was going on. So I was flying blind a little bit until I think maybe Kiri had popped in the Discord and said, give him 10 weeks or something like that. And that's when I thought, oh shit, okay, maybe there's more to this than I realized, and checked the footage and come to realize that, okay. I mean, this will go straight to the tribunal, I think. As soon as you knock someone out, you're in trouble regardless of what the intentions were. So 3 weeks will be the minimum. I think this might go a bit beyond that, regardless of the intent.
Yeah, because there was an incident last week with the Fremantle player Voss, who swung and hit Boston. He got 3 weeks for that, which is probably the same sort of incident. So I don't know, because that's happened again, they'll increase this 3 weeks to 4 weeks or something.
Well, and what was the Boston played out, got up and played out the game, whereas Guy Myers is also now going to miss weeks. And I've also seen the conversation, and I haven't actually run the numbers to double check this yet. So the mandated, assuming that he recovers just fine from this and there's no extended effects, is it 12 days? 12 days is the minimum concussion.
Days, yeah.
So I think someone had suggested, I haven't actually checked the calendar now to work out how this falls. He's obviously going to miss Carlton on Sunday, but then the fact that our next game, I think, is on the Saturday, that's going to be 12. That's going to be 12 days on the dot. Does he estimate
that? Yeah.
So does that potentially mean he misses 2?
Yeah, I think there's
or is the 12th day the day that you can come out? It's a weird one.
Does it start when he gets knocked out, or does it start from tomorrow? Or
yeah, I'm not super clear on that. So my gut feeling right now is we're potentially without Brian Myers for 2 games, regardless of how he's actually feeling. Carlton makes sense, no worries. The following week, he might be without him as well. let me double check that. So it is, today obviously is the 21st of April, and then we are due to play the Pies. Of course, it has to be against the Pies, a top team, on May 3rd. 1, 2, 3. So there's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If we count today, then it's 13 days and he's available.
It is, yeah, but I wouldn't be sure if we played him, because then again, he wouldn't have done any training during that time. And
oh no, he'll still be able to train, I believe. I don't think it'll just be like you can't do contact-based stuff. I would have thought you can still keep your skills and those sort of things and keep yourself fit and whatever.
Yeah,
I don't think you go into cotton wool, but more just protect the head.
Should come in. Yeah, it should definitely come in if he's eligible, I guess. Yeah.
Any other before? Because we've got the Velas sitting in the background here, getting ready to jump in. I'm seeing Bianca and Declan both getting really excited on the other side of the camera here. Is there anything else you want to talk about from the game today? Any other players that we haven't discussed so far?
I think that maybe we'll just about next week. The game against Carlton. They're celebrating the 30-year anniversary since they last won a premiership, of course, and they'll have all their ex players there, and they'll wear some sort of special jumper or something. Or
it's going to be made of that jumper's going to be made with dollar bills all over it because it's all the extra money that they got paid at the time they bought them a premiership, right?
Exactly.
We haven't forgotten, dodgy bastards. Yeah, look, it'll be an interesting one with Carlton. I know, I saw Cripper after they got their win last week, and he was kind of shouting out in the rooms that we're back, and then they've obviously got another win here. But I think what has been lost by some, but I'll quickly point it out, is they've lost 11 out of their last 15 games, and the 4 games that they've won, 2 of them have been against North Melbourne, and 2 of them have been against West Coast. So, the caliber of the opponent. I don't want to get too carried away, of course, because we do have to play them. I could have to be humble by it.
But then again, they did smash them convincingly, where other sides really haven't. So they do get a bit of momentum, but then again, I'm not really sure.
I won't take them lightly, but I also don't buy into their form of 2 wins in a row. So, when they've got players like Walsh and Cripps and Curnow and Wiedering, etc., you can't ignore that.
Every time he plays us.
Yeah. And Tom de Koning, obviously in the form of his life, there's plenty of guns on that list. But I'd like to think we get the win, but I don't know. We'll talk more about that in previews and those sort of things over the course of the week. Anything else you want to discuss? The chat is popping off as well, so I've got to try and make sure that I'm so far behind on what the chat's got to say. So hopefully you're all fending for yourself as we go here. I do like this one. They call Watson the Wiz because he pisses away Hawthorn's chance of winning. Thank you. Thank you for that bit of gold. Anything else you want to discuss from the game at all?
No, I think we've covered everything pretty much.
Fantastic. Anything else you wanted to discuss beyond just the 4 walls of today's game?
The theme song with the stand up and fight. I don't really understand why we do it. I said this. For some reason, I don't think we will win a premiership under that theme song. I just think it's a bit of no club has ever really won a premiership with a bit of a shitty theme song. I don't think it's that shit, but I just don't think it's as good as the original. I
think there's an adjustment period for all of us, especially if I'd imagine they're going to stick with it, whether we like it or not. But you're right, it doesn't do
a vote or something for the members or something.
Yeah, I just feel like it doesn't quite pack the same punch. No. Well, no, sorry, it's not even doesn't I don't feel. I think I can say definitively the second verse doesn't pack the same punch as the core lines, but I think in time it'll also grow on us as well.
Yeah, because we get a good close win. You just want to sing the song, and then the second verse comes on. And it doesn't really sound like something you can sort of just sing out loud or something.
Yeah. I think we're all there's a lot of people in the crowd that still don't know the words to that second verse, which doesn't help either in terms of really getting a community to buy into the whole thing.
The bit where they run out and they Dangerfield says it over the mic. Why can't we just have it through that or something?
Yeah,
And we're going to
maybe.
run out to the normal theme song. Yeah.
I'm seeing Shadu here. I didn't actually catch this myself on the day, but it might have been booze headed somewhere else. I heard that on TV, Hawks fans booing Myers when he went off. Well, I hope that wasn't directed at Guy Myers, but that would be the sort of trash that we have to deal with. There's actually, what'd you make of? And we'll make this our final point of conversation before we jump across to Brendan, Bianca, and Declan, who again are waving their arms and fist pumping, plenty of excitement in the household. What did you make of the Bailey Smith show today? There's a lot of theatre behind Bailey Smith today. Did he flip off the crowd again? Is that what I saw as he was trotting off the ground?
I don't know.
It was so very subtle, like it was very fast, so I couldn't quite tell if it was this, something else. I'm not 100% clear.
We probably never really had a player like Bailey before, I guess. Sort of like the big personality on social media and their like life outside of footy, I guess. So yeah, I don't think we're really used to Bailey's. I like Bailey's behaviour, of course, and stuff. I'll tell you what, I actually saw Bailey at work a couple of weeks ago. He just walked past me, and then like just the nothingness came out of me. I just said, "Hey, Baz," and then he just goes, "Oh, hey, mate, how you going?" He was really nice, but I just don't think we've really had a player like Bailey before, but I think it's great.
Yeah, I think there's some adjustment there. Chris Scott also said in his interview on AFL 360 that, look, one off where he kind of really buys into the energy and enthusiasm and the history of this sort of matchup, and there's a bit of angst and there's stupid things where he's smacking a player in the side of the head with a ball. I think that was Jarman Impey actually in that scenario. Like that sort of stuff, no worries if it's a one-off. But if this is kind of a pattern of behaviour, that's where some sort of intervention on the club level needs to come into it. So
you don't want a situation where clubs just start antagonising him and then he'll like punch someone and be out for a while and it'll just get to him. We definitely don't want that scenario.
He's a guy that plays on the edge. And I think, every now and then you're going to step over it. And I think despite some of the behaviours today, I think he still stayed on just the finest side of the right side of the line. There's nothing suspendable here, but I think if it's a pattern of behaviour still, even if he remains on the right side of the line in terms of the laws of the game, it's maybe not what you want to be demonstrating, putting out there as a club. So if it continues, I suspect there'll be some sort of intervention and we might see it nipped in the bud a bit. But right now, I can deal. And I've still got no issues with him flipping off that Adelaide supporter last week.
Yeah, of course.
Sounds like the person deserved it from all reports. So, well, thanks for coming on board, Ben. It's been awesome to chat. I think this is the first time that we've actually interacted when it comes to any post-game live stuff before. I could be wrong, might be misremembering. I think it's the first time that we've actually had a chat, though. So thanks for coming on board, mate. It's been awesome.
Thanks, Paul. Have a good rest of the show and, go Cats.
Yeah, get some rest. It's been a long day. Been a long Easter weekend.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Thanks, Paul.
Catch you later. Awesome. All right. Thank you, everyone who's been sharing those thoughts in the chat. The chat is exploding at the moment. I'm going to continue to try and pin some of these as we go. Amy's actually just shouted out that we don't have a mid-season draft pick. Well, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? I don't know how we're going to get. Old mate then in this particular scenario, Nathan Kruger, but Lee Matthews apparently suggested we should bring in the red card system for players who knock out opponents. It's still one of those really hard ones because sometimes it can be like you almost need to stop the game and look at the camera to make 100% sure of what the intention is. And that can cause a lot of issues in that scenario because maybe you send someone off who there was no intent behind it, but there was an unfortunate outcome. It's still a really tricky one in that sort of scenario. And I'm not for additional reasons to stop the game. But there's a whole umpiring was terrible today. Look, I was sitting with Hawthorn supporters, and I suspect it was the same across the ground, who were booing all day about not getting free kicks. And then the free kick count popped up on the screen, and they were ahead by quite some way. And I think that was the case for the entire day. So Hawthorn supporters can jam it so far up their rear, it's not even funny. Apparently, David King was talking shit about Geelong again, talk about bias. One of these days. And people, I don't know if he'll play ball and block people or be a turd online. I want to get him on behind the play. I would love to chat to David King, pick his brain, because I think setting aside that there's this perception, rightly or wrongly, about there being Geelong bias, he is a genius in a lot of ways when it comes to the way he reads the game. I'd love to kind of pick his brain and then start to wade into that conversation about supposed Geelong bias. And we'll see if we can kind of pry into that somehow. It's okay. Duncan will save us. Election day. Grind's going to be back for election day. I'm sure Grind's going to be stoked for that. All right, let's bring in the Valors now. I'm seeing the fist pumping already. How's things, guys? For the second time today, it's good to see you all again.
Yeah, good to see you. No, we're pretty happy. What do you reckon? Are we happy?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to have to talk, I think, because my voice is gone. So
Wow!
say something. Declan, what did you think of the game?
Yeah, you go first. No, you.
Yeah, go for it, Declan.
Yeah, you. First.
First, look at these. How good were these? The headbands.
Yeah, I did see them today, and I wasn't sure if they've been going for a few weeks. Is this the first time that they've? Because I went to round one, and then this is my
wizard hats.
Yeah, they were.
I did see the wizard hats.
They were giving them out every time you bought a footy record.
No one gave me one when I bought.
Even Vass's got it.
Yeah, so the Geelong supporters were getting a headband, and the Hawthorn supporters were getting the wizard hats.
No one offered me a headband. My son would have loved that.
Yeah, they were just free with the with a footy record.
Oh,
So
I bought the record too. Anyway,
just thinking, yeah,
maybe they'd run out.
I'm surprised the club haven't started selling them. Like,
I genuinely thought it was something the club must have been selling, but that's because I was oblivious to the record component that you were talking about. So,
yeah, it's geez, they're leaving money on the table, I reckon. Like,
both clubs, yeah, if they're giving them away free,
give Bailey a cut, he signs them. Like, but
the umpires sucked. I know. Now, actually, you were talking about the free kick count, right? 21 to 15. No, 15 to 24.
I mean, obviously, statistically, that says some stuff. I've still got to rewatch the game, as I'm sure you guys will as well, because we're all there live at the ground, and sometimes you miss some stuff. But I don't know. Yeah, at face value, you go, oh, hang on, that sounds like a bit of a problem. We tend to be a lesser recipient of free kicks. And then, of course, there's the old free kick Hawthorn adage that gets around. And there's reasons for that. There seemed to be a few that were a little bit suspect, but there was probably a few that was a suspect going both ways as well. So I'll reserve a judgment in that one. I'm going to sit down and watch. After I watch episode 2 of The Last of Us tonight, I'm going to, I've unfortunately seen that the big moment has occurred.
Yes, I saw it too. Wow, you're not going to know for a while.
Yeah, no, you don't want to be. This is not your age.
No, that hit, as soon as it hit, like all over X, just tweet. I was like, oh my god! All right, they did it already. I'm like, what?
Drop your golf emojis, people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way.
Anyway. But yeah, let's get back. I'll be watching that, and then I'll start rewatching the game. And I'm meant to go back to work tomorrow, so we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Me 3. Me 4.
Yes, of course. We're all in the same boat here. All going back to school tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh,
same thing.
What have you got to say there?
At least I've got the big kids who don't have who are probably lacking the same enthusiasm for going back as myself. So anyway, let's get back to the game itself. So the umpiring, not a big fan of the umpiring, Bianca. Were there some that you in particular were unhappy with? Setting aside the numbers, were there some moments that the umpires you feel like really failed us, or both teams?
You remember anything or no?
The in the backs. Now, there was this one time where I think it was Tom Stewart who somehow in the back, I think it was Nick Watson.
I think it was high. I think they called it high tackle.
There was one.
I don't remember.
Okay.
Sorry,
no more that.
What else you got?
Tom Atkins. He's not in my votes, but I want to talk about him. Okay. He had 7 kicks, 17 handballs, 24 disposals, 7 clearances, 157 meters gained, And this is the best part. 9 tackles.
Another 9.
Just keeping that average lingering around 10.
What's the Bailey Smith one?
What?
What?
What'd you think of Bailey Smith?
Giant Impy got in his
Bailey
way
Smith, 28 disposals.
Yes, that is true.
1 tackle, 4 clearances.
Hang on, Dick, you tell him. You tell him what happened. How did you see it?
Giant
See which
Impy
bit,
got
sorry?
in Bailey Smith's way. So he just went. The ball.
See that? You heard it here first. Jarman Impey got in Bailey Smith's way.
You like this?
That's
Do it to me. Do it to me.
And that prompted the forearm ball to the face.
Do it to me. Push. So I just went.
And yeah, he did give the bird to the crowd again. So
He did? Okay.
when he was
Yeah.
when he was
It
coming
was
off.
very subtle. It was very quick. So I
Yeah.
wasn't, and I haven't been able to freeze frame it yet. So
It was just a little. I think he caught himself mid bird. He kind of went, oh, nah. But it's still worth it.
I mean, he was
No,
just,
I
I love it.
he'll just get Daniel Gorringe to pay the fee again.
Everyone's booing him, and he loves it.
That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. Like, there's some players that when they get booed, it gets
Their
in
heads
their
goes
head
down.
and they drop. He seems to love it.
Did he see?
He
was
likes
like
the
this?
attention.
Yeah,
When he had the ball, he was
Yeah,
like
there was
this.
there was
He
a bit of
couldn't
this.
He's
There
got
was
the
a bit
ball.
of a
He's telling them,
listen.
come on,
Yeah.
keep going. It was, I love that.
I heard the comparison made recently, and it's a cricketing one, but the comparison was kind of made to Sachin Tendulkar, who basically
Yeah.
who like as soon like if players or opposition crowds or whatever it was got stuck into him, he would go to another level. And this is obviously already one of the greatest players of all time, but he would go to another level when people were against him for whatever reason. And Bailey Smith is giving off similar sorts of vibes, where like if you turn on me, well, you watch.
Yep.
We can get all lame and make Darth Vader references. My powers be greater than ever before. Oh, that's sort of like strike me down sort of stuff. I won't wade into the waters of Star Wars because there's enough of that conversation going on in the Discord at the moment. But he's giving off a lot of those vibes.
We're going to get to a point where the opposition players, the opposition supporters, are going to start pulling their mates up, going, "Shh, don't get him going." Like,
They're not smart enough. They're not smart enough.
It doesn't work.
They are not smart enough. They
Now,
will just hoot and holler and boo, and it'll get worse. And he'll just,
now,
What else you got?
Ollie Henry.
What do you got to say about Ollie Henry?
He hasn't
Ollie's
had
going to
the
be a
best last 2
topic of
weeks.
conversation.
He hasn't had the best last 2 weeks. He hasn't had, even though we both won both of those games, he's only had 14 disposals combined in both of those games.
I pretty staunchly defended him last week because whilst you were right, like his numbers last week in terms of actual disposals weren't great. The number of tap-ons, like you looked at his score involvement and his goal assist numbers, and they were really, really high still. And so I was really happy with the output last week. I haven't checked those numbers today. I'm actually just scrolling to have a bit of a look now to see where he's at. Why is that not appearing? Everything's weirdly out of sync. Score involvements. Ollie Henry had 1. Inside 50s 2. Goal assists. Why is it the app is the website is getting out of sync here? And 1 goal assist, which will be probably that one same score involvement. So yeah, look, this was definitely one of those games. I probably can't defend his performance today, but I will say, and I go back to the point I made earlier on when I was chatting to Ben, like I feel like him, Shannon Neal, and even Tyson Stengel to an extent, though Tyson had a pretty great day today, even though he didn't hit the scoreboard. I think are struggling a little bit with the presence of danger in there and how much attention that sucks up.
Turnover.
Go again.
How about the turnover?
Which one?
You've
You've
talked
refreshed
about
me.
the last play. Not the last play. The Mana goal.
Oh, that one at
last
the end.
quarter.
The whole thing was that whole play was fantastic. The way it all worked out. Danger
Stengel
was-
got it.
Just because the Hawthorn could kick straight. Like, I'm not talking towards goal. Their kicking accuracy is off.
Yeah.
So for the numbers actually, and this might shock you a little bit, Hawthorn's disposal efficiency was above their average and above ours for the day too. What
I'm
they
going,
did though, what they did was butcher it at really important moments. That was, I think, the thing for me is they torched it when it really mattered. Geelong, on the other hand, especially when it comes to disposal inside 50, hyper efficient. Our average is 54.7% inside 50 efficiency. That was 69.6 today, which was also equal to our disposal efficiency, which was just only slightly below the 2025 average. Like, our efficiency inside 50 was crazy good today. Like, those are really, really good numbers. And Hawthorn's disposal inside 50 actually was above their average too. But they really butchered it on a few key moments, and some of those moments were just when it was shot on goal time.
Yes.
Now
Jack Gunston being a major culprit.
They kept bringing up on the scoreboard the disposal efficiency. It was high 70s for a lot of the game.
Yeah.
So
76.5 it finished on. So
yeah. So
there was a bit of kick mark and those sort of things at different stages too, admittedly, because they, especially early on, the first half, I think Geelong did a really good job, similar to what Port did last week, where they cut off that 25-meter kick. They were really positioning themselves quite well in a bit of a you'd probably say it was about a 140 sort of degree angle, just kind of cutting off most things to channel them down one pathway, which was towards the boundary. And so it really limited their options, and then you try and intercept from there. And so that, I mean, it either would or wouldn't work at different points. But yeah, I think they play that really well. They didn't necessarily play that same game in the second half. I think it became a bit more of a shootout and just an arm wrestle between the two teams in the second half. But yeah, early on, I think the Hawthorn numbers are probably inflated a little bit because there was a little bit of backwards play, sideways play, those sort of things, and that skews your numbers a smidge as well.
Okay.
Pivotonians dropped the free kick Hawthorn reference there.
I was actually also going to say, I think the Geelong players didn't remonstrate with the Hawthorn players because I don't think they actually showed the replay up on the scoreboard, did they?
They did not.
Is this for the Myers? Yeah.
With the Connor Nash shit. Because I had no idea. I was waiting, going, are we supposed to boo? I'm going, I didn't see anything. What's going on? It wasn't until the actual break, three-quarter time break, that I saw the video. I'm like,
looked on your phone.
You bastard. I was like, what? So, like, but then by then it's too late. Like, it's been gone. So,
okay.
So I'm sure that if they had showed that minutes, like seconds later, they show that, all of a sudden the entire crowd's into it, and like the players will then be like, oh, okay, then fair enough, let's get stuck into it. But by then it's kind of gone. It's time to focus on the footy again. But yeah,
look, I mean, what I said before, look, maybe the players didn't realise at the time, but or maybe they did. And I think the greatest compliment to the Cats players, I think, is if they recognised, or even some of them recognised, their priority was not about, let's go take a swing at this bloke. It was about, we need to make sure our mate's okay, because he was out like a light. And they were quick to, wave the hands and gesture to get people on. For me, I'd rather see them be a good teammate in that regard and supporting one another, actually supporting the health of a mate and making sure they get the support they need, than to turn around and just try and get argy-bargy with another bloke while he lays there on the ground unconscious.
It was actually, 2 hits. It was the hit in the face, and then the back of the head hitting the ground. So that's even worse. So,
whilst there's definitely a place, especially when it's really obvious to get in the face of an opponent and kind of, give them maybe a little bit of chin music for what they've done. My number one priority, honestly, is making sure that they support their mates, and and then making sure they're okay. And I was stoked to see that, especially at the time, not knowing exactly how it happened. Because my first impression was actually he just collided with him. It wasn't an arm, as in it was just a clash of bodies, and he just kind of cannon straight. Almost no, actually, it's not a great comparison, but it was kind of in the same way that Shane Mumford basically killed Mitch Duncan all those years ago. Just put Mitch into next week. In fact, about 5 weeks later, I don't know, can't remember how much football he missed in the end, but that was. I still see this footage of I think it's Kyson Adder, one of the YouTubers, where he loses his mind over seeing that footage. It's still quite funny, despite the fact that I'm sure Mitch was feeling it for a while. That was
I'm talking
near death.
Wasn't that just a typical Shannon Neal game as well? Where it was just for 3 quarters,
moments,
just so frustrated. And the last quarter, he does things that you just there and go, if we could.
Where was this 4 minutes ago?
My God. I said it in the last quarter. I go, mate, it's time to put the big boy panties on now because we need you. And he did it. Like, he literally, that mark on the wing. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, there it is. And then the rundown tackle, like, I'm like,
we need
to
have that 4 quarters.
Give us 2 quarters of it next week.
4.
We'll build slowly.
4.
And again, I might need to, we'll build baby steps. Look, I might need to rewatch the game. My gut feel was that intensity and effort was there throughout the game. And again, I could be wrong. So sorry, people, please confirm for me after. I felt like some of that intensity was there, except for there's one moment where he kind of deviated when he shouldn't have.
Just had a look at the, they were talking about him actually on the couch. About they showed his efforts in the first half and in the first 3 quarters, and they're just talking about how it's not good enough. Literally, it was like,
okay, cool. Players
were going around him, and he was just putting the arm out, and there was actually nothing there. It was like,
wasn't a lunge.
Yeah, they singled him out. They showed him a few occasions, and then they showed the last quarter his efforts, and they're like, it's definitely something to build on. That a young player that young can actually rise to the occasion.
He might well have gotten the feedback from the coaches, and maybe he'd seen some of that footage at that point and gone, shit, okay, got to go. Credit to him if that's the case. Yeah, sorry, because I didn't have the greatest look at it from where I was. So
yeah, no, I hadn't seen the stuff that they were showing. I hadn't actually even seen either. Like where he was just not really just putting a hand out.
There was this one time where he was thinking about jumping up, and he just stayed on the ground.
It seems like he just defaulted into a wrestle. Like when the ball was in the air, he'd just come in and just go, all right, let's wrestle. And it was then you'd have like Sicily or Barras just jump in front. Whereas we kind of want him, we don't want him wrestling. We want him jumping at the ball. So I think he's got to
use the
slow it down, slow his run down and don't get into a shit fight. And then pick his time right and go up for it.
Get the leading pattern right. Yeah, it'll take some time, but you'll get there.
No.
And I don't think that. One more thing. I don't think we can either. I don't think we can drop Ollie Henry as well. I don't think I think that would be it'd be disastrous for him as well. Like I can't if his confidence is low now, it'll be even lower going to the VFL, and I could see him going even lower, because
like a Mitch Nevin.
There's ways of you could play forward in the VFL, and it could be even harder because it's going to be harder to get the supply that you're getting in the AFL as well.
The quality of it.
You just got we know what he's capable of. So I think we just got, and the same with Neil, because also there's nothing in the VFL to come up. This is it. Neil and Ollie Henry are what we have. We just got to somehow make it work. We've got to get these guys, get the fluffers out and just get these guys going.
And I've said it a few times already on the show and in the last few weeks, I really do feel like they are at the moment kind of struggling to work out how they adapt to what Danger is doing in the forward line. And that's going to take some time. But the thing is, if you go to the VFL, they could either play really poorly and that really deflates them, or they could put in some blinders and that's not really going to change it, because when they return, if they get a gig straight back up into the number one in the ones again, suddenly they're back dealing with Danger and Jeremy Cameron and trying to find their space within it. It doesn't really change. The problem, it's not even a problem. It's a great problem to have Danger doing what he's doing. But it doesn't really change the circumstances. They come back and they need to learn how to play in that forward line, not the VFL one, which is a bit more traditional and it's a bit more typical in a lot of ways. They'll get there. I'm really confident. And I would say, honestly, that today is probably when it comes to Ollie Henry, today's the first poor game. Bad game, maybe you might even call. I've seen enough through the other games, through the goal assists and the score involvement figures, that highlight that, and just the eye test too, with some of those tap-ons and those sort of things. There was none of that today. Today was a bad game for him, I thought. But I've seen a lot through the other 5 rounds that I'm perfectly happy with. So we'll persist. I think you're right. I don't think he needs to come out of the team. And to Roaming's point, how is the traffic? Disastrous. I don't know about the trip for you guys back to Geelong, but at my end, disastrous. I hung around stupidly. So when I walked into the ground, I'm still certain to this very moment that I heard some comment over the PA about kick to kick on the ground afterwards. Clearly got that wrong, but I'm adamant that I heard some comments. So I took off. It's when I saw you guys at the shop, actually, because I went over to the shop, got my son a little footy because we didn't bring one, brought it in, went down to the fence as the siren went. I'd even gone online and I just searched for AFL kick to kick Easter Monday, and it took me to a Facebook post that had been published by the MCG. What little did I notice until I got to the fence at the end of the ground, and like, they haven't set up the thing around the center square. There's no one hanging around. What's going on here? I look at that post and it's dated 2023.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah. I don't remember
Anyway.
the last time they. I don't know if they
So
do
then
anymore.
that extended the drive from that point, because now every man and their dog is getting out of that Flinders Street car park that I park in, and
Okay.
Okay, what do you got? You got something else?
Finally. I think someone did comment about this.
there's a lot of
When you were
comments
talking
coming
to
through.
Ben. I thought our defender struggled without Jack Henry. Like, you have a look at Jack Gunston's game. He had 16 disposals, 3 goals, 1 behind. But this is the one that explains everything. 6 marks inside 50 and 5 uncontested marks inside 50.
Yeah.
I think Connor didn't play as well, which I get. He's a new one. But we've been seeing him play a lot better than that.
He's only second year.
I mean, Ethan highlights it here.
no!
He's sitting in the background, ready to jump in soon. But O'Sullivan's second half made up for a very poor start. I'd agree. He started off pretty rough, and look, he probably hasn't played a game quite of this heat yet. And there was some lessons to be learnt, but I think he learnt them pretty quickly and performed quite well in the second half.
Yeah, I think Jared. I just remembered something now. I was watching AFL 360. One thing Jared said that really made me laugh was he reckons Bailey Smith spent the entire week just watching Geelong Hawthorn highlights from Easter Monday.
He brought that sort of energy.
Got himself revved up to the point where he took it personally. Like, he hates them as much as we do now. And he hadn't even played against them yet.
Good. Lean into it. Embrace it. Maybe don't smack people in the head with the ball and flip the crowd off willy-nilly. But thanks, Declan.
Declan still, he reckons, what do you reckon? Charm Nimpy had it coming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He started it.
Keep your space. Get out of the way. Leave him alone.
I haven't seen footage to Magnus's question here. I haven't actually seen footage of Bailey Smith or the rooms yet, so I don't know if Bailey Smith has learnt the song. Hopefully he took that feedback as well.
That was on bounce. He hasn't learned the song yet.
No.
Oh, apparently Bailey Smith was a Hawks fan growing up.
Get out.
No,
I'm joking.
not anymore.
Doesn't need to watch much footage at all there, and he knows it pretty well.
That's pisser.
And also, we are only 23% away from being in the top 4. Just give us the Premiership Cup already.
I can't.
You said that round 1.
Calm down. All right.
You calm down.
We've got Carlton, Collingwood, GWS next 3. Let's relax. 1 week at a time.
And we're going to go over to Adelaide to play Port, who are up and about finally. They've
I
sorted out their Connor Rosie issue.
We play them well over there.
Yeah,
we do. I think we do, but they're not going to be pushovers. I think they've kind of got themselves out of that early season funk.
After flipping being Hawthorn.
We actually have GWS at GMHBA.
We have a really
at GMHBA. We know how well that's gone for us lately.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a really bad record against the Giants at GMHBA.
Yeah, so that'll be the away game, I reckon, for us. We've got to learn to play at GMHBA Stadium when we play there. That's the hard one. We're going to have to change things up, I think. I'm not sure. Sleep in another bed or something like that.
What is wrong
Put something
with
in their water.
What is wrong with the grass?
Oh, the grass today.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Slipping
players
over.
slipping over.
Oh,
early.
How?
Yeah, Declan, remember.
It wasn't raining at the start, but it was
There was a lot of
down rain at the end.
felt like the Geelong players were the only ones slipping over.
No, Hawthorn did too.
I didn't see him.
Are you dumb?
I remember one.
I recognise.
I remember one kind of late. I think it was fairly late in the end. Yeah, because then Chol knocked the ball out afterwards. The Wizard had kind of swung onto his right and kind of hooked it back, but then slipped as he kicked, which then spilled out in front of Chol, who then couldn't pick the ball off the ground and knocked it out. And of course, the jeers came from his own supporter base at that point, as well as the Geelong supporters too.
Deliberate.
No, it definitely wasn't deliberate. It seems like he just couldn't bend over to pick the ball up. But yeah, I didn't think anything deliberate of it. I just thought a big lumbering key forward who's not very good below his knees. So
Okay.
And just one last one. Declan,
Mm.
what do you think of Mana's game today? You're the Mana fan. What do you think of Mana? Tell them everybody about Mana.
2 in the balls.
200. Oh,
That's it. That's it.
that was what you wanted to. You wanted to talk about the 2 times that you got
Go,
200.
go. More.
Yeah, come on,
He got
lean into it.
3
It's-
goals. 3 goals. Yeah. Keep going. But he tried to show off too much. That's the only bad thing about his game. He's
I don't know if it
showing
was
off.
show off because I don't think he's a lairizer.
Oh, what? Sorry.
Sean Mana's
I just think he tried to take the game on and bit it off a bit too much on a couple of occasions.
Okay. Now speaking
But,
of the Carlton game, how do you think we're gonna go? And that goes for all 3 of you.
I just want to celebrate the Hawthorn win at the moment. I'm
Yeah,
going to
let's-
celebrate the Hawthorn win all the way to Thursday night. All right, when you
Yeah,
beat
all the way till
Hawthorn-
Thursday night. The Paul James show comes back, and then we
Yes.
start previewing. Oh no, we can't do that. I can't do that. I know that the chaps, while we started the show tonight, the chaps were already doing their review on the back end and presumably previewing the new game as well. So we are already shifting into preview mode to an extent, but
Yeah, I told you.
to an extent. Well, that's not this show. The chaps can do their own thing
Can I talk about the
and do it to a very high standard, I might add, if they're tuning in. Their
Right.
stuff's high quality. Good laugh. But
I'm talking about the VFLW now.
Just
Oh, okay.
Just one last thing. All right. Let them know. What happened to VFLW?
I'm not up to
No,
date, so
Ben.
please catch me up.
We got cooked.
How badly?
50 points.
Yeah, about that.
50,
But
53
if you go
points.
onto his YouTube channel, you will see this video.
Or onto Instagram.
Or either way, you'll see this video
What's it called?
about the round 1 highlights.
And whose video is it?
Mine.
Yep. So tell everybody about it.
Tell everyone, tell people where to check out
people
provide all the
where to go,
YouTube details,
what to
all of that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
What should
all-
people search for on YouTube?
What should people look for?
Search. Okay, I'm going to tell you step by step. Go on to your phone, go on to YouTube, search up Brendan Vella, click on the icon, and then watch it. Watch the video. And because we were recording on Mum's phone, it didn't record. It recorded something, but there was no audio. So we had to.
There it is
we
now,
go.
everyone.
Okay.
At
You
Brendan
go
Vella.
on there.
Oh, do you actually? I won't click on anything now because it's going to mess with our audio for the show. But you can see the contents all there. Latest videos, the VFLW wrap.
There.
It's right there from 2 days ago.
That's the one.
Please, people, go
Yeah,
check
so
it out.
because my mum's phone recorded something, but with no audio, I had to go home and he had to put the video together, and I had to voice over every single thing.
Oh, you had to dub it. Very good.
Yeah. She did some commentary, so that was fun.
That would be a bit of
So-
fun. You can lean right
Because
into that
we
one.
had
Good stuff.
we had the microphone hooked in, but it didn't connect. So all of a sudden, when we got home, we had all this video but no audio. And it was like, oh crap!
And I had such a good start to it. It's finally back, and I'm like,
This is a call to everyone right now who's watching. You can see that subscribe button. We've already done so. Make sure you. I better not actually.
please
Can I
subscribe.
double that? Oh, sorry, we can't do it right in this second because I'm using different permissions. But please make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe to Brendan, Bianca, and Declan on YouTube. Plenty of videos there. Subscribe accounts building. Go check out all their stuff.
All right, we got 3, 2, 1s.
Yes, let's go. To,
You
and
go first.
apologies, Ben, if you are still watching. I did forget to do the 3, 2, 1s while you were in here before, so my bad.
Okay.
Let's jump into that now,
Everyone
though.
wants me to go first.
Oh, he does he?
Yeah.
All right, fine.
1. Sean Manor. 2.
Click the face palm.
Bailey Smith. And 3. Patrick Dangerfield.
Three to danger again.
Let's
What do you got?
swap around. Go. Dangerfield 3.
Lucy's just subscribed to your channel.
Bailey Smith 1.
So,
Bailey Smith
so
won.
Who was,
Say again.
so say again. Bailey Smith 1. Yeah. Who was 2?
Sean Manor.
Sean Manor 2.
and 3 Patrick Dangerfield. Yeah, okay, you should have a better one than that. Go.
I don't
Brennan,
even
how are
remember.
you?
I'm just happy we won.
Where was that at the game?
I'm just happy we won. Look, they can all get a vote. Shannon Neal for that last effort can get votes.
If we base it on a
everyone
quarter
gets
alone,
votes.
Shannon Neal gets a vote.
Yeah,
I got votes to everybody.
I'm
We
happy.
need to show someone this.
I'm happy with Lawson. Lawson was good. Like,
Didn't he
I don't
rebound
know,
well?
Vasalenka.
I just want the win. I have to
coming along.
watch the replay again.
What?
I don't know the votes.
Oh
I haven't
my
looked at the
He
stats.
rebounded really well.
my
Tom Atkins, it's
God.
hard to ignore Tom Atkins' output again
Yeah,
with the
Tom
clearances.
Atkins
The
was
tackle.
Sorry, bro.
Double
I
count number of
literally said he
disposals.
wouldn't be in my votes because there were just too many good people. But also, you said during the match there are passengers.
Yeah, but we won, so it's fine now. It's fine now.
Spartacus with 1 vote to Bailey, 2 votes to Smith, 3 votes to Bailey Smith. I like that line of thinking. Jezelenko with Mana 3, Atkins 2, Danger 1. Looking to see if there's anyone else. Please make sure if you haven't already shouted out your 3-2-1s. And actually, sorry, if you did put your 3-2-1s earlier on in the chat has been pumping so far, and I'm a mile behind, so I've kind of skipped to up-to-date stuff. If you've got other thoughts for your 3-2-1, please drop them in the comments. I'll make sure to pin those already. So thank you to Spartacus with your very, very fun 1-2-3 there, as well as the 3-2-1 from Jezelenko here. Jared has also subscribed to the channel.
Now you've got subs coming.
This is how a good YouTuber does their stuff. They go around, they plug themselves on other platforms. Then those people come across. You're smashing it. This is good stuff.
We need to do merch.
We do merch.
Merch.
Well, we kind of do have merch.
Oh, right.
One piece.
Talking about you donkey.
Just got to get you get merch. It's or you sell more and more of your banners. You just start mass producing those things.
Yes, we sell them.
I had another one working. Oh,
They become stickers. Make them as stickers.
Make the Vasalenka one.
I was this close to doing a Basilinka one during the week, but I thought at the last second, I'm like, they might not let me read it. Yeah, doing the 2 birds. I was just winding it up, and I was like, I'm gonna go get the material, cut this out, and then security are gonna see it and go, nah, mate, that's not coming in. And I'm like, where am I gonna put it now? So I still might do it because I reckon it'd be
make them stickers.
Well,
Like,
with the 2 birds.
The 2 birds.
No, hell no.
I'll just quickly go back to a
No,
comment
but you
from
guys
Refuse
just
TM. It's, we haven't mentioned yet actually the Holmes afterburner effort inside 50 via the wing. That was a crazy good effort where he took that ball from the center clearance, kind of had to cut a big 180 around and cycle back and then deliver it inside 50. That was a fantastic play. Kind of kicking off the quarter there in that regard. That was an awesome moment. We hadn't discussed it across you guys coming on or Ben prior, but that was a real highlight, that one.
Yeah. 100%.
Any other? So, Brendan, you don't want to commit to a 3-2-1 yet until you've rewatched it?
Yeah, I need to watch it again. I don't know. I'll go.
No, it's fair enough.
as
I don't blame
usual.
you. I've got to try and work out how to watch the game, do my reaction because I need to then get the reaction video out tomorrow. I'm not sleeping tonight, I don't think so.
No.
What? How are you going to go to work then?
I'll just pretend to care for the day.
Yeah.
Not the greatest example here. But Jared's shouted out 1 to Brad Close, 2 to Baslenka, 3 to Mana from Heaven with his votes there. Look, this content doesn't make itself, Bianca. Sometimes you just got to go without sleep for a while.
That's right.
I've got to watch The Last of Us. I have to watch The Last of Us. Again, drop your golfing emojis in the chat, please, people.
What? Oh, wait, golfing?
Golf.
What about golfing?
Golf.
Don't.
You like golf, Sarah?
Nothing more than that.
Mini-golf?
No spoilers.
Mini golf?
Nothing for the children. We need to protect them as well. Just drop the
That's
golfing emojis in the chat and we'll leave it at that. Anything else you guys want to discuss?
Nah, I think we've covered it all. Time for bed. Time to go to school.
Time
No.
to
What do we
rest up.
say?
Go, Cats! Again, anyway. 3, 2, 1. Go, Cats!
Very nicely done. It was awesome to meet you guys in person today. Albeit briefly, Brendan will get a chance to do it properly at some point. Guys, it was awesome to get that photo with you as well. Looking forward to doing it all again sometime soon.
I'm coming for the Fan of the Year award. Nah! He almost didn't want to come on.
Oh, that's right. We've got the whole fan of the year thing. I mean, I'll leave that to Ben. And here come the golfing emojis.
Here come the golf. Yeah.
Excellent.
Happy.
Thank you, everyone. If you don't know what's going on, I mean, I'd imagine this Strider
definitely
night here with the Commander Shepherd thing probably knows full well what's going on. But if you don't know, just lean into it anyway. Well, thank you, guys. It's been awesome. Looking forward to doing it all again sometime soon. And well, I'll see you sometime soon, whether it's Paul James show, whether it's Postgame Live, whatever. Look after yourselves. Enjoy the first day back of school. It's only a 3-day schooling week this week anyway. You got Anzac Day coming up. That gets your Friday off.
You were doing something at our football club. So
That's awesome.
He designed it.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Have a good night.
Well, enjoy,
Ninja
guys.
Turtles pajamas.
I can't even say the things I want to say to you while the kids are there.
Okay.
Just bring them out.
Extrapolate from this.
Go. Okay, go.
No, I'm not going to do it. I do have an ounce of professional in me, and I don't want to drop abusive language in front of children.
Mad Monday. They're gonna come out Mad Monday. I know it.
Yeah, someone can coax me to go join the boys on the Monday. If someone twists the arm of the club and gets me in, I'll walk in Team NT pajamas. No worries. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you soon.
What a win!
Another Easter Monday classic. Always good value. And thanks everyone in the chat for continuing to deliver here. It's been fantastic so far. Next up, we've got Ethan. How's things, mate?
Hey. Wow.
What do you make of it all?
I couldn't even enjoy that until a few minutes after the final siren, when they showed Brian down in the rooms, standing, not wobbling, getting on with everyone. John Ralph said that, if he gets through everything, he could be back in time for the Collingwood game. Obviously, he's not playing against Carlton. And just that really set me off. Even though I will say Nash seemed remorseful. He should be missing at least 4 games. And when I get down there, even if they're playing somebody else, I'm going to boo the shit out of him every time he has the ball, no matter what game it is.
Yeah.
Like, today pushed me over the edge with how much I hate these guys. You know? Right. It's funny because, like, I've had a lot of positive things to say about, like, the way they've built their team, their midfield core. I think Mitchell's a really good coach, but fuck these guys.
Yeah. They can all be individually great, but as a cohort, don't want to bar them.
Oh, I've said, like, if they weren't wearing the Hawthorn jumper, if they were playing for, I don't know, some regional team in Humpty-Doo, I'd be supporting them. It's like, look at this fun, emerging young team, but God.
But because they're Hawthorn, No,
I've said this about teams in other sports too, but just, there are a lot of things where we got outplayed in areas we didn't do well in, but this is one where you're just happy with the result regardless of how you got there. There are some days where you're more process-based and some days where you're more results-based. Today is a day to be results-based.
Yeah. That said, I haven't really picked through it to great depths yet, but a lot of the data I look at and go, this stinks of a Geelong win. I mean, we're not one to accumulate the ball en masse, and we certainly didn't do that today. Now, we were definitely down on our usual possession count, disposal count. But, the things like we've killed teams with efficiency for years, and we did it again today. Disposal efficiency was there about our average, and then our efficiency, inside 50, 15% above usual, which is already well above AFL average. Like, it's... We cut teams apart sometimes through efficiency and nothing more.
We did, but sometimes it was more just like being there to take advantage of their mistakes. I mean, Sicily's last kick was so wide, it might have been the final blow that took out the Pope.
Yeah, I didn't know about any of that until I got in the car. My wife goes, "The Pope's dead." I'm like, oh.
I didn't know until after the game, and then I saw, I go on Twitter and I see that game killed the Pope. It's like a few months ago, I was at a friend's wedding. I go back to, check into the hotel between the actual wedding and the reception. It's like, oh, someone tried to shoot Donald Trump. It's just like, this like side thing to everything else that happened.
Just FYI.
But yeah, we did a better job capitalizing on their mistakes. And maybe, when you go through the review, you'll spend 80% of the time looking at all the things we did wrong and where they out-muscled us and all this, and only 20% of the time looking at the positives. But again, this is a game. It's like a college football rivalry where it's like no matter how you got there, you're just glad you won.
Yeah, you take the 4 points and you go.
And it's one of those things like I feel like I've compared, I think Adelaide Showdown is like the thing that's closest to like a college football rivalry, like relishing in your opponent losing to somebody else. Like, for example, at Auburn, they have a tradition of throwing toilet paper on the famous trees on campus after wins.
Right.
And sometimes they also do that just when Alabama loses, even if it wasn't to Auburn. And
it's just that we want you to lose at all costs sort of mentality.
Oh, yeah. You feel that where it's like, you meet up with people years later and it's like, oh yeah, I went to, this school and graduated in this year. And the first question is like, what was your record against, your biggest rival? Same deal here. It's like, how'd you do against Hawthorn? That just comes first. And yeah, I thought, again, we did a great job taking advantage of mistakes.
Yeah.
In a game where they had the uncontested possessions by a long shot.
Yeah, I'm
70 more of them.
Through that now. Where are we?
Yeah, they had 70 more uncontested possessions.
Now, I would say, and I'm not sure if you were actually in the stream at the time, but there was a little bit of that sideways and backwards kicking that we forced them into. Especially in that first half, Geelong did a really good job of cutting off that 25-meter angled kick that Port did. Port really showed the way with what they did last week. And I think Geelong really honed in on that, especially in the first half. And so that would have inflated that uncontested possession figure a little bit. But I still think you're right beyond that as well, that they did lead the way in that space. And that, when we then go to the disposal efficiency figure, which is 76.5, it's actually, despite everything we've said, their disposal efficiency was above their average, which is also above our average.
But look at points off turnovers and look at efficiency inside 50.
It was the critical errors and the disposal inside 50. And even their efficiency is actually technically higher than their typical average as well. So there's some weird things here, like it's the critical errors at critical moments that cost them.
And you know what? The other thing, we didn't let that uncontested play, and I'm just realizing this now. Thinking through it, this was just my aha moment. And I'm going to write this down to include on the podcast. We didn't let them use that uncontested play to poke holes in our defense like the Saints did.
We held the structure.
The Lions did some of it too. Heck, Freo did some of it in that one bad quarter.
Yeah. You're making a note for yourself here, aren't you?
Yes, I'm literally writing this down.
That's right. While you're doing it, I'm enjoying the chat has really savored your Pope comment before. So Spartacus highlighting that the game killed the Pope. We've got where are we? Pope Francis, dying words. Fuck those Hawthorn motherfuckers.
And to anyone who does feel, a level of connection to Pope Francis, I do want to offer condolences and all
seriousness. I am Catholic personally, but I can still see the humor in these comments.
But he lived a very fulfilling life, and when that happens, as opposed to someone dying tragically young, I think we're able to have a much better attitude towards it.
Future pub quiz: what killed Pope Francis in 2025? The answer is Hawthorn.
Quietly awesome game from Sam DeConing in his one-on-ones. He had one where he was left behind and didn't contest, and other than that, he was great. He had 8 spoils. He was huge.
I'll look for further confirmation from you because you would have been watching it on a screen. In that first half, who was matched up on Jack Gunston? Was that Zach Guthrie for the most part?
It was some of him and some of O'Sullivan.
Yeah, right, cool. Because it's also Spartacus. I'm a horrific Catholic. I haven't engaged in the church in 20 years. But anyway, outside of my wedding day and attending other people's various different occasions, I got zero shits to give when it comes to the church. And I think most people would base that judgment on the way I carry myself in their streams half the time. Sorry for surprising everyone with my Catholic background. Anyway, Yeah, I'd been listening to AFL 360 afterwards, and because I haven't been able to watch it on the screen up to this point, and really absorb it in the way that you can from behind a screen. I'd heard Gary Lyon kind of connecting Sam DeConing to all this, and I was like, that doesn't add up to what I'm sure I saw during the game, which was more often than not in that first half was Zach Guthrie kind of trailing Jack Gunston in.
Yeah,
and finding himself stuck on the mark. So he might have just mixed his players up. I mean, it's another, Geelong, long blonde hair headband.
Yep. And it's funny because I would have liked Guthrie on paper in that matchup. Again, Connor O'Sullivan, really rough first half. Second half, he locked in and got in there in those one-on-ones. Huge credit to him. Lawson Humphreys, other than he let a I forget who break one tackle where it's just like he just doesn't have the core strength yet because, I mean, his biceps are huge. He's got to build the core strength still, but I thought this was probably his best game of the year, even if he's not quite up to the form he was when he burst onto the scene last year. This was definitely better version of Lawson. And Tyson Stengel's second half, like that was what I was waiting for, seeing him stick a couple tackles inside 50. We had, I believe it was 20 tackles inside 50. Yeah, and they had 16, and granted, there were how many different sequences on both ends? There were a couple in the third quarter on both sides where, there were like 5 tackles right off ball ups, so that kind of inflated those numbers a bit. But
I'm not surprised that those figures are high for both teams. This is kind of the nature of the beast with the Geelong and Hawthorn game, really. So,
oh yeah, it wasn't the cleanest game. It wasn't like there was a single great individual performance. This was a game won by the collective, and that's kind of what we do and what we do really well.
Just picking through the chat.
They did expose.
Keep going.
They did expose our lack of physical strength defensively at times with the combination of no Jack Henry and a down game for Stewart. But we overcame a down game from Tom Stewart.
Exactly.
And it's like, I'm gonna be super proud of that. And
Jeez,
Shannon Neal
just caught me off guard. I at the moment, apparently, K-Rock was speculating that Lawson Humphreys might have to be part of a Harley Reid trade.
And there's a bunch of other guys I'd give up, but Lawson is very high on the list of guys I would keep.
I understand the hows and whys because you can, more capable of getting the running halfback in this current climate. But right now, and I've obviously put the video together about Harley Reid, and people have aired their thoughts around that one. Right now, I'd be kind of happy. Well, not. You want a player like that on your list. He's a fantastic player. I think there's a Jason Horne-Francis component to it, and he just needs to get out of that club. But right now, I could still do without him. Like I don't think he fundamentally changes things. He's not this ground moving sort of acquisition.
Whereas Matt Rowell, I would do a lot of very, very ridiculous things to get Matt Rowell.
And the chat is mortified by these comments that I at the moment is shared. They're a little bit rattled. So as are we, clearly. But yeah, I wouldn't be parting with him at the moment. And I just I get the logic. I get the logic in that transaction. There's a logic side of it that makes sense, but I don't think it's a move that we would make unless Lawson comes to the Cats and says, "Look, I want to go back to WA."
Yeah.
But then that just stinks of Tim Kelly.
Lawson could be like a 200 game guy. I think he's just super sturdy. Other things that really stood out to me, I thought Shannon Neal actually, like, full game was pretty sharp. He took a couple of really good contested pack marks, just not in the forward 50. They were like down the wing. I kind of compare it to like the game Harrison Penny played against us last year, where it was like he didn't have the highest volume, but in big moments, he took important marks to kind of stretch plays, and I liked him. And it was just annoying that he dropped this one in the forward 50 that was right there for him, and what was otherwise a pretty solid game. But I think it was a reminder that Shannon Neal has use outside of the forward 50, and I don't want to shoehorn him into that role because, like, saying that he's the replacement for Tom Hawkins is kind of shallow because they're different players. Hawkins, strong as can be, gigantic thighs, great at taking marks and kicking in the forward 50, whereas Shannon Neal runs really well, good at ground level, and able to mark outside of the forward
reach.
50.
Yeah.
Like, I hope that we look at this and see his use outside of just the forward 50, because he has that, and I hope we continue to exploit that. This definitely is going to require a rewatch because, I mean, seeing your absolute favorite player go down in the manner he did, that rattled me. Like, that really rattled me. I think it rattled the whole team for a few minutes, but it rattled me.
My son, who's I've obviously told the story many times on various different shows about basically how Brian kind of saved his love of the game in the first place. I don't know if I've mentioned that story when you've been about anyway, but and Brian, got a ball signed by Tom Hawkins, added his own signature to it because of what had happened. Got it personally mailed off to my place. And my son kind of fell in love with footy again after.
That's awesome.
As a 4-year-old kid, they love and hate things within the snap of a finger. But he was right off it after some kid had stolen a ball out of his hands at the end of the game that Tom Hawkins had given him. And Grind just went and saved the day by getting one. Grind obviously been on the show to save the day, but when Grind went down, he was distraught.
And that, you could feel the whole team was flat for a few minutes. And I'm going to guess at 3/4 time, someone mentioned, we got to win this for him.
Oh, you'd imagine so.
And again, just seeing him in good spirits after the game, that was such a huge lift. I felt, in part because, instead of this cathartic moment at the end, it was kind of just looking and seeing the time tick down. It's they're not moving fast enough. There's no way they can score twice. This game's over. Instead of that huge intercept mark moment or huge goal that kind of sealed it. And I mean, I did go nuts for the last Mana goal, but still, that was the best moment was just seeing all right, he's okay. He's hanging in there. And he was in the circle after, and that was big.
Yeah, that was awesome. I was looking for him at 3/4 time. Come on, where is he? Where is he? Couldn't spot him there at the time. Maybe he was out there, but I couldn't spot him.
Yeah,
looking for something. But it was awesome to see him at the end. And thankfully, as I said, we were hanging around at the end of the ground, hoping to get on the field. Made a mistake there. But Noah spotted when they projected the song being sung on the big screen. He spotted him in there, and his face just lit up. So
good.
That was nice.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that again. Because I want to figure out what we did to stop Cam McKenzie in the second half. Because I thought McKenzie was super dangerous, even when we were up by about, I want to say 23 or so was our largest lead in the second quarter. McKenzie was flying around, and on a per touch basis was Hawthorn's best. And then second half, he was almost unheard from. And I want to see what we did to take him away, because Newcomb got better as the game went on. Joel got better as the game went on. McDonald got better as the game went on. But I don't know if it was just them not looking for him or something we did, but they managed to take McKenzie out of it. And that makes me quite happy, because he's a really dangerous player. And part of why, as much as I hate their team, I respect the hell out of him, McDonald, the guys that aren't doing all the stuff that draws all the cameras, the guys that are just good football players.
Well, look, hopefully Connor McDonald doesn't draw the camera too much, because I saw that rat tail on the back of his head for the first time today. That is disgusting.
Oh, it's been there.
I'm sure it's been there for a while. I try not to make a habit of watching Hawthorn much and taking on board much of what the players do, but I saw that for the first time today. I was like, what is that shit?
One of the Star Wars prequels.
Oh, yeah, he's going
full Anakin. Like a guy from right around my area, actually, that plays for the Dodgers, except if instead of having nice hair, he has the stupid rat tail. For anyone who watches baseball, he kind of has he looks like James Outman, except with dumb hair.
Right. Okay. I'll have to try and take a look at this. Sorry, James Outman, did you say?
Outman, Outman. They look very similar.
Try and have a quick squeeze while we go, but
yeah,
any other thoughts?
I've got to figure out how we got McKenzie out.
Oh yeah, I see it now straight away. Holy shit!
Yeah, I got to figure out how we got McKenzie out of the equation, because I was really worried about him. Like, as much as we can talk about how Sicily helped gift us the game and Watson's miss, like
Chol being Chol, all those sorts of things. And of course, Gunston. Gunston had 3 out on the full. But like, he's a sharpshooter. He had a bad day today.
I will give Chol credit, actually, because with him, I've always thought, and this is at 3 different clubs, that it's an effort thing.
Yep.
And he played his ass off today, and you saw what happened. I mean, he ran down Stewart and then hit a tough shot. And like, that was just kind of indicative of Stewart not having a great game. And I love that we were able to win this game on an off day for Stewart, because we could never do that in past years. Like, you look
Absolutely.
at, some of the games, like a couple of the home losses to Frio in past years that coincided with Stewart having an off day, and we overcame that. And that was, the mix of DeConing spoiling and other guys going down the wing and just all sorts of stuff that stepped up. Where, like, Tom Stewart is probably not, one of the top couple defenders in the competition like he was around 2021 and 22. He's still in that, like, next best tier. But, he's a tick behind, Sam Taylor and probably Harris Andrews. He's in that next tier with, like, Cal Wilkie and stuff. But that we can win on a day when he doesn't have his best. I think now that I'm sitting back on it more, that's the biggest takeaway.
Yeah, that makes sense. Look, I personally, I would still have him in that top alongside the Harris Andrews and the Sam Taylors. But you're right. I think ever since the whole tagging thing of the first half of last year, he hasn't quite regained the magic. He's been very close on a few occasions. He hasn't quite consistently regained the magic that we've had, that we know and love. But I think
Taylor's just on such a ridiculous level right now, too. But, like, Stewart is still in the conversation of, like, top 5 defenders in the competition.
Yes, without doubt.
And that we can win on a day when he does not play up to that is a testament to our depth and our versatility. And, I haven't heard, like, for example, what was the deal? I know it was a hip thing for O'Sheen, but how major or minor it was. But the fact is...
I'm not too sure myself, actually.
The fact is we have the depth that if a guy has a minor thing come up, I don't know how minor it is, but let's say hypothetically that it's a minor thing, that we have more than 23 guys ready to go that are at such a high level.
Yeah.
And, I thought
you can trust a Closey to come in, or a Nevitt if he came in, or a Jai Clark if he came in, or Mitch Duncan returns, whatever it happens to be. That there's soldiers there that what to expect. That they'll be able to play within the team structure, and they'll be able to play it to at least a decent standard.
And I was a little surprised that he wasn't made the sub today, O'Connor. And Closey did fine in that role. If he hits one of those shots in that sequence in the fourth quarter, we're never going to shut up about it.
Yep.
But
speaking of things that we're never going to shut up about, and there was a moment that could have been one of those, and I haven't seen the chat, and sorry, but there's a big bit that I had to scroll through for a while there, so apologies anyone if I'm ignorant to something you've said. The Jeremy Cameron soccer out of the air that was nearly goal of the century.
That would have been...
Holy shit.
So we have a thing we're doing on our show. So, each week at the end of the episode, we go through the goal of the week nominees, mark of the week nominees, and then we have a few of our own awards. We have assist of the week. Bailey Smith's on our second goal is right up there. Nick Dacos had one the other night that was nice too. And then I added behind of the week, which is basically designed for, like, oh my God, that would have been so cool if it was a goal. And, like, Daniel only had one that would have been a crazy bouncer last week. Jeremy Cameron's clears all of those. That is the behind of the year. If that goes in, that is the greatest goal maybe ever. Like, he was getting tackled. He one-times it from the goal square. Like, it wasn't quite a bicycle kick, but whatever it was incredible.
For it to hit the post too. Like, oh my God. He couldn't have gotten any
high off the post.
Yeah, he couldn't have gotten any close to kicking, without doubt in my mind, the best goal of the century so far. I'm
trying to think. some other...
And it would have been fitting for it to happen in a Geelong and Hawthorn Easter Monday match too.
There was, I forget who else it was that had a shot that hit the post that was really cool in another game this week.
Morty, I think that was the third quarter when he socketed that one out of the air.
Yeah, because we were going left to right.
Yeah.
It was third quarter. It was like right after Chol had scored for them and put us back. It took our lead from 4-5. But that was, that's behind the year. You know, goal of the year will be discussed. Mark of the year, that's behind the year.
Yeah. Which sucks because again, it's what could have been. But that's
still super cool. Just that he got the kickoff at all, even if it like barely scraped through for a behind. Like that, it even gave us a point.
Yeah. Well, either moment sums it up pretty well. Just saying, Jez's agility and flexibility is incredible. Like that's what it boils down to. It's just these natural qualities that he's got that made an opportunity out of one that really shouldn't have been.
He's a ridiculous big game player, and I think we also saw at times before he went down how well Brian plays in big games at the G.
Yeah,
and Brad Close, who I think if there's one silver lining out of knowing that we're going to have to play without Brian next week and maybe the week after, that it probably gives a few more opportunities for Brad Close.
Yeah.
Because I think he's so impactful in that forward line. And like anytime we feel stagnant or slow, it's like you can just start banging your fist on the table, yelling, "Get Brad Close involved," and something good will happen.
Yeah, pretty much nails it. I'm actually just taking a look and I wish I could dive deeper into the stats. Tyson Stengel, I feel like, got more active up the ground in that second half, almost from when Brian Myers went down. Did he
think it
step up and play
started
that
even
role
before that.
Yeah,
but
okay,
yes,
cool.
it was.
It feels like he was more
where
prominent after that moment where he kind of had to.
He stuck a tackle on.
Yeah, that tackle was awesome.
There was a chase down tackle on Nash, like right after, which I think it was on Nash. Maybe it was somebody else. I think it was Nash, which would have just been perfect.
Well, yeah, suitable.
But seeing him stick a tackle was awesome. And he would have had one last goal at the end had the siren been just a few seconds later. It would have been really nice to just as an exclamation point, just to get like one last goal on the siren.
Yes, and for him also to get on the board because he did pretty much everything else for the night. Like his 3 assists. As I mentioned before, his goal assists, his score involvements, he was fantastic in that regard. It was just the fact that he didn't actually kick a goal himself. That's similar. Like his night to night was similar to the way I've been describing the Ollie Henry games of recent weeks, where he's kind of copped it from a few people, and I was kind of sticking my neck out there, saying, "Well, no, actually, like whilst he's not hit the scoreboard, he's contributed through goals, his score involvements, those tap-ons, some of those things that aren't measured with stats. He'd contributed in a lot of those ways. Tyson Stengel had that night tonight.
Yeah."
Didn't get the goal, but was so useful when it comes to 3 goal assists. And if I take a look at advanced stats, I'm sure score involvements will be quite high, and 7 score involvements, which is equal third on the ground. So,
Ollie Henry, I will say, was not a great game from him. He was catching some criticism early that I didn't quite see, where I just thought he hadn't gotten involved yet, and then later it did feel like he just wasn't really affecting the game much at all. Where he was kind of like shying away from contests and stuff. And it made me think of like Cam Newton backing away from the fumble in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But I get the feeling, we don't quite, I don't think is Polkinghorn ready yet?
Yeah, I'm not 100% clear. I haven't been able to watch much of the VFL stuff. I just kind of look at the numbers. I am also I'm going to pin it here. Refused TM is just asking for a link to your show. Where should people go? I'll make sure that I share it
in the comments, but for those who have not
I must have missed it. Oh, yeah, sorry there.
It is literally just called Americans Watching the Footy. It is on Apple, Spotify, all your major podcast platforms. We have also been uploading usually to YouTube, where, it's just audio, but, you can play it through there as well. Listen while you're driving, exercising, using the bathroom, whatever. Listen to it in the office.
pop the headphones in and ignore the boss when they go to start talking to you.
Yes, exactly.
I'm quickly just projecting it on the screen now so people can see the YouTube side of things. But then, as you said, check it out on podcast services as well. Here we go. Boom.
But just as we round this thing out, I want to mention real quick the Bailey Smith thing. Multiple things can be true. It was funny. It was dumb because it poked the bear, and I think Hawthorn kind of responded to that and dug their heels in. Jarman Impey sold it more than he needed to. It gave up a free kick. Should probably cost him $1,000.
Well, at the very least, the Bird stuff afterwards is going to cost him $1,000 again. I did enjoy that. I believe he's already, and
he already posted.
I think he's already posted on Instagram.
Story.
Maybe that he was suggesting that he could get Daniel Corringe to help with another $1,000. So that's real.
I audibly laughed at that. That was really funny. But I think we've done a good job so far, reeling him in. And it was pointed out, going into halftime. And you saw it a couple times last week where, Tom Atkins kind of just went in and cooled him down a little bit. And it's you want Bailey Smith to be himself. And you also want him to kind of keep things reeled in when he needs to. And I think we have the structure in place and the support system there for him to do that, where he can be himself, but we can also, make sure the things don't go overboard to the point where it could negatively affect the team. So I'm confident in that. And when you talk about, the culture and everything, those are the moments it shines through.
There's the Bailey Smith Instagram story so far. So
yes, and I hope we don't see them again until next Easter, because I could not.
No, we don't play them again, do we?
No, we do not. I could not take just the anxiety and stress of a potential future matchup with them between now and later. I'd
a September matchup mortifies me.
I don't want them to have any success that far into the year.
And we see this sentiment in the chat every single time when we get close to finals. It's just this fear of having to play Hawthorn, because the history is just there. At the end of the day, the history is just there. And, and I said this on the Paul James show last night, when it comes to Geelong and Hawthorn in finals, and we talk about the Kennett curse and all the history around that. At the end of the day, that was bookended by two actual knockout final results that didn't go our way, being the grand final in 2008 and the prelim final in 2013. Yes, we won all these games in the middle. It was fantastic. It was fun. I have lots of treasure memories from that, from Jimmy Bartell's behind to Tom Hawkins' goal after the siren. Just the sheer number of wins. It was all amazing. But it was bookended. It's
not even that for me. It's just
that for me just continues to keep me anxious about Hawthorn in the finals, especially if it's a knockout final.
It's not even that. It's just the anticipation and the week of nerves that I could really do without. So, I hope to see other teams beat them. I'm calling this 3-game stretch the asshole swing, going through these guys, Carlton and Collingwood in a row.
And not to mention GWS and Port afterwards.
Yeah, but I don't.
Yeah, I know what you mean, though. In terms
they don't have. Port fans can be kind of wild, but I get a kick out of them. These are the 3 games. It's if you had to pick, 3 games that you really want to win as a fan, these are the 3.
These are the 3.
And now the situation flips a little, where we'll be the ones on shorter rests each of the next 2 weeks. Whereas this week, we were the more well-rested team. We'll be going in, Carlton played Friday, we play Monday. And then next week, Collingwood comes off of Anzac Day, so they'll have a longer rest than us as well. Yeah. We're going to have to be ready for that. We're going to have to be ready for different styles of games. Collingwood, they're going to be a team that, they like this kind of choppy, kick mark, stoppage-based game. And Carlton, no, they haven't beaten anybody yet, but they've gotten themselves off the mat and clearly gotten some confidence back, which, I'm not saying they're going to win the flag.
No, there's been a
Brisbane's
little
started
bit of
off-
noise around that since their win against the Lions. Let's not get too carried away. Brisbane was pretty off the boil. They looked like they had really heavy legs.
Oh yeah, but Carlton, like
And
I'm
Carlton,
not
yeah.
saying Carlton is a team that's gonna win a flag or anything, but like similar to how Brisbane last year, they got themselves off the mat by beating North. Like just getting a couple wins in your system has its benefits.
Absolutely. Get that winning
you
feeling.
feel a lot better.
Look, I mean, for me, and I said it earlier on in the show, Carlton has lost 11 of their last 15 games. And the 4 games that they've won, 2 of them have been against North Melbourne, 2 of them have been against West Coast.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't want to get... If I was a Carlton supporter, I don't want to like poke the bear and say stupid things because we've got to play them this week and it could come back to bite me on the ass. And my mum is a Carlton supporter and I've already dropped that line on her. And as soon as I said it, I'm like, shouldn't have said that. But
it's not going to be an easy game, but
it's not. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be an easy game. They have a high quality list, regardless. Certainly, like their top 10 players on their list is exceptional.
But it is nice that we'll get to go from winning in front of 88,000 to like, all right, we'll be playing in front of like, I don't know, what, 70,000 to 80,000. Like this
3 weeks straight, we're going to be playing, 70,000 plus, you would imagine 3 straight weeks. It's
yeah.
Awesome. And that's off the back of the Adelaide game, which didn't quite get to those same sort of numbers, of course. But
had that same feeling.
Yeah.
But now, at least, again, we're dealing with tougher situations. We're going to be the team with the shorter rest, but we're definitely acclimated to these situations. It's going to be funny in a few weeks when the whole rhythm kind of changes back to playing at home, playing more conventional games. But
nothing conventional about playing GWS in Geelong. But
oh, no doubt.
I know what you mean. It's another terrifying prospect because we just can't seem to win against them at home. But anyway. But look, it's a tough stretch. Like I know we're kind of mostly focusing on this block of 3, but really it's a tough stretch. And we were talking about this, for weeks and weeks and weeks now about this block of games through the middle, this kind of first third of the season being quite difficult. You've got Hawthorn, got Carlton, who we expected to be good and have the capability of still being a really good team. We'll see what happens come next Sunday. Collingwood there and thereabouts. GWS fancied for the flag. Port have obviously been featuring in the finals for many years now. The Dogs up and about. Obviously, actually, we'll chat out really briefly. Amazing news for Sam Darcy.
Awesome.
To not do the ACL there. I'll say, I called it live on the show last night. I'm like, that's a hyperextension. And that's exactly what it was. Turns out there's also a bit of a fracture or something in the kneecap as well, which is what
he'll be out for a stretch.
But the ACL damage all just stems from hyperextension and not the dreaded tear, which is fantastic to hear. But he won't be playing when we play against them, and I suspect Jamara won't be either. So that makes it a little bit easier of an equation when you've only got to focus on Aaron Norton as the big key target in the forward line.
But yeah,
and then West Coast, like we finally get that maybe a reprieve, quote unquote.
But that's still a cross-country trip.
We've still got to go interstate, and but we'll probably send a few people there earlier in the week and have a chat to Harley Reid about coming to Geelong, or Oscar Allen while we're at it, and there's just be apologies left, right, and centre for everyone. There's no, and then Gold Coast immediately afterwards again, who are up and about. So obviously smarting a little bit off the back of their Richmond loss, but
it's just the tone. Big picture can now change to go from 1-2 to 4-2. It totally changes the face, kind of like the outlook after, we dropped a couple really frustrating ones, and to come back and win last week with the atmosphere and everything we were up against, and today. And again, this was kind of, like you said, kind of a signature win for us, especially when you zoom out and look at the stats in some of those respects, where, it was the value of the whole was greater than the sum of the parts.
Yes.
And I mean, when you look at the match ratings, through champion data and all, Carl Amon was the only guy above 15, and he was still below 18. So there was, I think coaches' votes for this game could be a mess, but my 3-2-1 as I wrap this up and defer to I'm sure there's a bunch of other people who want to get on.
You're the last, so you've got time.
Oh, okay.
There's no one else sitting in there at the moment. Now I will drop the link in there, so if anyone does want to join in, I haven't seen Kiri, I haven't seen Lucas yet. There's opportunities there for those guys if they're keen, and anyone else who might want to join as well. The link is there in the chat. Please consider smashing that button and coming and joining in. And as Ethan is looking to wind things up, otherwise it'll be me for a little while and then we'll finish up. But yeah, continue on though.
But yeah, 1, I am on the fence between Tom Atkins and Ollie Dempsey.
Yep.
2, I think it's got to be Patrick Dangerfield. And 3, Sean Manna. Between his pressure and the turnovers he forced getting us out to the early lead and kicking the sealer, he was the one who really made his mark on this game. And we're talking about how much he was missed not long ago. And today was even better than that. Although I am curious, let's see what the AFL Brownlow predictor has here, because I think it's already up. It is. All right, they've got 2 votes to Bailey Smith, 1 to Sean Manna.
2 of those, 2 out of 2 of those votes were all because they just pissed off. He pissed off the Hawthorn supporters.
And then 3, I guess had to go to. I guess they gave their 3 to they gave the 3 to Amon, not Newcomb. Wow, I'm surprised Newcomb didn't get any for them. I thought Newcomb probably ended up as Hawthorn's best for the full game. Well, Amon was solid. And then Dempsey and Atkins, totally different roles, but both valuable. Atkins was big from clearance and physically in the middle, just like we've always had. And then Dempsey kind of just popped up in different moments all over the ground. It was kind of like it's like trying to play whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
And
it can be a bit like that.
You got him, and then he just pops up somewhere else. And I'm sure as an opponent, even though he doesn't, do anything that outwardly gets under people's skin, just as a player, Ollie Dempsey has to be so annoying to deal with. Just you stop all these other guys, and then he sneaks in and makes his play. Like that goal at the end of the third. And it was mentioned when I had just pulled up Twitter a few minutes ago. I forget who it was who had said it first. Try to give credit here. Let me.
In terms of his ability to sneak out the back and get those ones.
It was Jan at Bimmy Jartel.
Very nice.
Who noted, and I noted this in real time too, on that goal, Shannon Neal went in and took out Jack Scrimshaw, basically, cleanly, might I add. What happened on the full play? Okay, so, and this was one of those little things that Neal did really well. Where
if you found a clip there, please feel free to talk us through it, because I won't project it. I projected a clip from the Sam Darcy thing last night and got demonetized for it. So I had to clip that out.
So it took our lead back out to 12. It was right after we had a billion forward 50 stoppages, and it just kept going. Ball up, stoppage, ball up, whistle, ball up, whistle. And Stanley gets the ball up. Close, he puts it towards the goal square. And then Neal, it's kind of a 2-on-2, Neal and Dempsey against Scrimshaw and Morrison. And Neal was able to not only take out Scrimshaw, but kind of force Scrimshaw into Morrison as well. And that left Dempsey all alone. And
yeah, I can picture the snap. Yeah, that makes a bit of sense, actually.
Yeah, and it was just those winning plays from, that don't show up in the stat sheet at all. I don't think he'll get credited with a score involvement or anything. But moments like that win you a game where, look, I would have loved to just beat them by 80 and just roll them from the start. But first off, they're probably too good for that to happen. I mean, you look at how they came back after they played their absolute worst against Port last week.
Yeah, they fought back and made a real contest of it late.
Oh, yeah. I would love just a nice, clean, stress-free win. But I think on days where we aren't able to do that, this is the blueprint. And it's been that way for a long time. And just to tough that one out, in spite of everything, I'm going to enjoy this, and I think it'll start to sink in because, again, seeing Brian get knocked out like that was pretty brutal, and it took away a lot of enjoyment out of what was already a stressful game. But I'm probably gonna
those games do a number on the soul.
Yeah,
they put years on the bank, and for me specifically, the thing that is doing me in about those games, my wife hates that I go to Geelong and Hawthorn. When I get stressed in anything, whether it's work, footy, whatever, my hands go through my hair all the time. Now, what has started happening, it's not because of football, but what started happening in the last 6 months, there's been a bit of recession going on at the front here. It's not in the family that I'm going to go bald or anything like that, but there's been a little bit of recession going on. And she's losing my mind over the fact that I do this. Just run stress hands through the hair during that stuff. She's insistent that I'm making it worse. So this whole game, I'm like touching my hands under my armpits so that I don't do it and getting anxious and paranoid. I hate these games because it does this to me.
Yeah,
all the time.
I'm
I
glad
stupidly made the comment during the second quarter because they were Hawthorn were butchering everything. At this particular point, I'm like, they just suck. We got this. That was when we were up by, as you said, 23 points at the time, and more fool me for opening my big mouth.
Oh, I knew at that point, like, they're not going to keep playing this poorly. This is not going to go on for an entire 4 quarters. That just doesn't happen. I mean, maybe with one of, like, the bottom 3 teams now and then it does. But against a quality opponent, that does not carry for an entire game.
True. But I got carried away. I got sucked into the moment, had a bit of fun, made a stupid comment, came back to bite me.
Yeah, but I don't think...
Thanks for Fuse TM. Apparently it's good for the blood flow. I'll lean into that narrative going forward.
I don't think we ever let them pull ahead. They pulled even at 78. Yeah.
Yes.
They never led. They never led outside of, when it was 13
early stages
to 12.
Of the game. That 1 point lead, yeah.
That was it. God, it sure didn't feel that way.
No, I when I saw that, I'm like, didn't they poke their nose in front briefly? But no, not to be. So
they did in terms of momentum and in terms of,
yes.
I don't think we have like a win probability graph like you get on the ESPN app for NFL and NBA games and stuff. But it definitely felt at times like it was swinging in their favor, but it still never felt like it felt like it was in the balance the entire way.
Yeah.
Never felt like either team you would have said they would have had more than, I don't know, a 60% chance.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think there was probably that period when we got up by 23 where you could probably see that gauge start to tick, but also, yeah, we probably wouldn't go that way because we know the nature of this matchup and what happens historically is the other when one's down, they start to rise, they push back.
Yeah.
Statistically, maybe it would have started to really tilt heavily in favor of Geelong at that point, but you just knew, and I knew, and I don't know why I said what I said. I don't know if I jinxed this. I don't know if I'm responsible. I'm sorry, people, for adding years to taking years off your life with my stupid comment today. But we got the win, so shut up. Stop complaining.
I'm just glad we got out of this one alive.
Yeah.
So let's get our stuff together and get ready for another big one and a big crowd next week. And again, glad we're only seeing these guys once. We've got a lot of tough teams that we have to see twice.
Yeah.
I'm glad these guys are not on that list. Even with our history, like, I'd much rather deal with GWS twice for everything that those guys match up with us. That was, I cannot deal with this matchup again. The build up to the danger goal, which one? Because I think
he kicked 3 in the end. It was also fantastic to see he was kicking, he's a dead eye. And obviously there's been all these questions and concerns about danger in the forward line because he's got a history of being relatively inaccurate, but he was on. I think, did he kick 3 straight in the end?
I think
3 straight. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I guess he had one that was going for goal and ended up not getting it. Yeah, he had one that
through or something in the end.
He had one that missed across the face when we were only up by 1 with like 3 or 4 minutes left. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because he kicked it from. It was about another 10, 15 meters further out from that spot where he snapped it earlier on.
Yeah. Ooh, and you know what else there was? It was the point that gave us the lead was he was too far out, and he ended up giving
Looked like a coal miner, apparently.
The first one. Was that our first goal of the entire game? No, it was. Aha, yes, it was. It put that actually. Yeah, that gave us a 19-13 lead looking at the summary here. And yeah, that was good. That was like a full team sequence. And then he ended up open deep. And yeah, there was a really good kick from Grind to Dempsey and then from Dempsey to close.
Oh, that one. Yes, I know that one. Set shot, kind of 20, 25 out or whatever.
Yeah, there were other goals in other games this weekend. Or there was... I forget which game it was in where it was like there was this awesome build-up and it was a shame it only resulted in a behind.
Yep.
I forget if it was the Dogs game last night or it was a game last week or when it was, but yeah, that was a good team sequence for sure.
And yeah, either moment's jumped in and confirming that it is the goal that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Danger's first. Yeah. The point that Refused here makes, the ball movement was as good as you'll see. It was real slick. There was a lot of fantastic, and I go back to that comment from earlier on. Geelong kills its opponents with its efficiency. They do not get the ball more than the opposition. They are not a high possession team. They kill you with efficiency. And when they're off in that regard on any given night, that's alarm bells. That's a real problem when our efficiency's off because that's the key to our game. But if it's on, you can forfeit. I mean, you don't really want to, but you can forfeit the contested possessions. You can forfeit the clearances. You can forfeit the inside 50s. It doesn't matter. So they get you regardless.
Yeah, I will say in a lot of losses, closer losses, we have this feeling of this, oh, that's going to bite us later moment. Yeah. And I felt like all of those moments from the first quarter even where Hawthorn misses.
Yeah, that script was kind of reversed a bit. But yeah, I think, that my final point on that efficiency one is we've seen it in like the teams who pressure Geelong well, and it's so obvious how to beat Geelong, really. It's kill them with intensity and pressure because then it's
just, can you do it for a full 4 quarters?
Can you do it for a full 4 quarters? Can Geelong find a way to adjust? But if you can sustain that for 4 quarters, you break the back of Geelong a little bit because efficiency is the key to our victory. And if you make it hard to get the ball on foot, hard to find a target, all of those things, you're a good chance to get us. So,
yeah. And final comment, I am glad that this is our only marquee, everyone watches this, it's the only show game because God, having all those eyes on it and stuff, it's stressful enough when you don't have 16 other fan bases watching your game too.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we don't have to do this all the time. I'm glad that, I'm sure it's very stressful being Collingwood and having, Anzac Day and both your games against Carlton.
And everyone hating you and all that.
Yeah. Or being Essendon and, you've got Dream Time and you've got Anzac Day. And I'm glad that this is just our one, and I'm glad that we won our one. Now, my one concern is that the last 3 premiers, including us in 22, lost to these guys. So I hope that this didn't cost us a chance to win a flag.
No, it'll be fine.
Good.
Hoodoos are made to be broken.
Yes.
Hawthorn was also largely shit through the majority of those times. Now they're actually decent, so maybe that changes the complexion of it a little bit too.
Yeah, maybe we already lost to a crap team.
Yeah.
If you watch,
maybe St Kilda was the team.
Well, here's my thing. As much as, again, we don't need to go into Bulldog Saints analysis. When the Saints are on, they're pretty good.
Yeah,
man, their bad version is really bad. Yeah. You saw it against the Crows and you saw it in this game. I hope we get that version when we play them at home.
True.
And I think we might just roll them. Or they'll be pesky and stick around like last year, but that is so far down the road. I'm going to try to soak in this one. Thanks again for all the love in the comments, and thank fuck we won that one.
That's the perfect way to put a bow on it. We spoke about this game killing the Pope earlier on, and thank fuck we won. It's perfect opening and end notes. So, Ethan, thanks so much for coming aboard, mate. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Sharing those insights. Make sure you get yourself some rest. Time zones can be a killer.
And then I guess 6 days from now we do it again.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. We need the break.
Yeah, can't quite sit on this one like we got to sit on the last one, but
no, we got to bask in that glow of the Adelaide win to come from behind. Different glow that we can bask in here, and
to watch.
Even more satisfying, I'd argue, because it's Hawthorn. But
yeah. And no, bathrobe does not have Ford on it. This is just a regular navy blue bathrobe that I can't say because I had just gotten out of the shower and I decided, all right, this is going to be the thing after we win.
Good. Well, thank you for probably the line of the night in this game was the reason the Pope died. I don't think anything will top that tonight. And maybe we should ask. Ben's not kicking around at the moment, but maybe I need to say let's reserve a pizza from Shannon Pizza for Ethan when you're in the country, because I think that is the highlight. I'm going to have to read through all the chat afterwards and help inform that decision. But I think you're a clear front runner right now, and we'll hold that one then for when you're in the country.
Oh, and the Vela family again, awesome job. Abby Holmes will be on maternity leave in a couple months. Can we just have the Vela family do the boundary work? By the way,
they do an awesome job.
Shouts out to Abby Holmes, because she is not just kind of pregnant now. She is carrying a full person and still going out there at quarter time and 3/4 time and just rattling off all sorts of stuff. She's so good at this, and she should be appreciated a lot.
At the moment, also with the Ethan officially hates Hawthorn. He's a catter for life.
Yep. Oh, I already hated him. Now
deal is sealed.
God, I want to show up at
Holmes is doing a great job.
You see those people with the "I hope both teams have fun" shirts.
Oh yeah, the Marge Simpson reference.
Show up at a Hawthorn Carlton game. I hope both teams have a terrible time. I do hate Carlton more than Collingwood, and maybe I'll feel differently in 2 weeks' time, but.
Yeah, let's put a pin in that for now.
But there's a snottiness about them.
The behavior of some of their supporters, considering they've been shit for 20 years, does irk me.
Yeah.
Some of their supporters, I will say that. Some of their supporters. We've also got wonderful people like Terry and the Blue Abroad team, Pommy. There's amazing people out there.
Yeah. And I will say there are a few Hawthorn fans that have been fun to talk with about this game and appreciate, having the discussion about Mackenzie was killer and then he kind of vanished.
Yeah.
But screw these guys. I'm glad we aren't seeing them again. Great win. Go Cats.
Yeah. Hopefully there's no finals matchup later on.
I hope.
Thanks a lot, mate.
That would require them to win too many games. I don't want them winning.
Yeah, they could just miss the finals, and my prediction from the beginning of the season could come true. That'd be fantastic. If they
I would doubt that.
The year they have to have.
But just beating them feels good.
Yeah, it does. Thanks a lot, mate. Enjoy. Get yourself some rest.
Oh, yeah.
Look forward to doing all this again, as you said, in 6 days.
Yep, 6 days' time. Back-to-back 6-day turnarounds. Let's go.
Enjoy. Chat soon, mate.
See ya. Go Cats.
See you later. Now, I am seeing, and I need to see if there's some video, because initially I could see a Fallout, please wait, thing pop up. Now that's not the case right now. I am seeing someone just going simply by the name Flag Cats Baby with lots of exclamation marks in the back end of the call here. Oh, hang on. The community have been. Oh no. Do I need? Oh no. Oh shit. We're bringing him in. This is what the crowd. You've been calling for this. I thought that Ethan was going to be it, but we're ending. We need the bed.
Good evening, guys, and everybody. I promised I'd bring out the red shorts, the Louis Vuitton shorts. I don't know if they're Louis Vuitton, but it's good on the tag. We're going to put them on. The pants are off. We're going to put them on.
I'm glad this is not.
How about that win? How about those Cats? Absolutely fantastic win by those Cats. Connor Nash You're a fuckwit, mate. You deserve 8 weeks. You're an absolute tool bag. You're lucky that's not in Adelaide, mate. You'd be on a one-way trip to Snowtown, brother. Fantastic win by our Cats. And the lid's off. We're going to go all the way. All the way.
I've never heard this level of positivity come from you. Also, you're really leaning into like getting the rig out now. Like you've had 1 week where you're ill, and now you're just doubling down. Did this happen last week? I didn't watch Postgame Live last week. Did you have your shirt on last week?
No, I had it off out for the Crows win. I was I had to take the shirt off. I was topless in the bus because I had some Crows fans having a go at me. So I was topless in the bus all the way for a 30-minute ride to my house, topless on a bus. So it doesn't matter. We bet the Crows and we own Hawthorn. And Jazelenko, I'm here, mate. Don't worry. Great community tonight. But the red shorts, are back. I've got the red shorts out. Jeff Kennett's got his Hawthorn striped suit out, and I've got the red shorts. And I'll tell you what, I've got the Guernsey in the back. The Guernsey.
Yes.
It's all off.
No,
and,
as long as it's not all off, we will absolutely get demonetized in that regard. Cut it. You will have killed the Hoops crew with that.
I think Ben said he might have to get a little black bar across the bars last week.
We just need actually, it's a good point. What graphics do I have? Boom. We'll just toss that one over the top when in doubt, and then I've still got the camera in the bottom here. So as soon as everything gets returned inside the pants, we can remove it.
Oh, no, we're back. There you go. There's a nice view. Look at that. Look at that jumper. Look at that jumper. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Oh God, don't do that.
Couple of signatures on there, but it looks absolutely fantastic.
I at the moment just ask, is there an inflatable doll in there? What?
Not yet.
Not yet. I hope Brendan has put the kids to bed. Bussy, I hope your kids are asleep as well. What time is it? It's quarter. I've still got to rewatch this match, do a reaction, and watch The Last of Us tonight. Holy shit! Let's go for as long as it takes. Who cares?
This is up late with Lucas. We'll go to 3 a.m. here if we have to. Don't worry about that. We'll go all morning, and the pants might come off, or the shorts might come off again. Fantastic win against the Hawthorn.
I need to have that button ready.
Oh, we got it ready. Viewer discretion is advised, but hey, what can you do? But no, we have we smashed the scum. They can fuck off and take their their runners up prize with them. We absolutely own them. It was completely. I don't know what to say actually. I'm that excited. I'm in grand final mode.
I'm kind of used to you bringing some sort of, not necessarily negative, but like there's a critical component. I've got the shits with this. Maybe you love the rest of it. I've got the shits with this, but I'm not sensing any of it here. I feel like everyone else so far has brought something, including myself, I might add, has got something they've taken issue with. Not you today.
Well, it's early.
Now, someone said before that you might have gotten pissed yesterday. Is that still the case? Like, have you not stopped?
You
can't get hungover if you don't stop drinking.
I'll tell you what. We need 2 weeks to gather around. We need 2 weeks. One week is enough. I went into Rundle Mall on Saturday. Absolute ghost town. You can. It wouldn't be too hard to find Casper the Ghost. Incidentally, the next morning, Casper the Ghost was actually on television on Channel 7. So there's a plug. How does Scotty do today?
How's Scotty do?
Well, I was. Look, I got nervous for a minute there. I got nervous for a minute there with Gunston on who was he on at first? He was on O'Connor first.
Zach Gunston.
That was Sullivan. Yeah, okay. I got a little bit nervous. I thought, oh, here we go. Here comes Gunston with his legacy fucking bullshit game. So he missed a couple of set shots. So that was concerning. They
3 out on
probably
the
should have
full.
been. Yeah. Hindsight probably should have won that game. But you know what? I don't give an absolute fuck. We bet these so-called favourites, the favourites for the premiership. Well, the favourites can kiss my ass. I don't give a fuck about your fans. I don't give a fuck about your players or your club. Just scum of the universe. Fuck you all. So,
For what it's worth, the odds have started to shift a little bit now. Wait, when? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, Brisbane and Collingwood and the Giants are all currently equal favourites, $6.50 apiece. Hawthorn and Geelong, $8 next best.
We all know what happens to the Giants in September. They're Port Adelaide 2.0. Collingwood, well, they'll be in the bus to the old folks home by round 15. We are the clear.
Nice when we're not making those having those comments made about our team, right?
Absolutely no. We are the clear favourites. So there is absolutely nothing stopping us from making this year's grand final. We've got two contending Brownlow medalists in Patrick Dangerfield and Bazza.
Your wife screams at you a bit, Bussy. Wife screaming at me because I had a need to grab a hard solo out of the fridge to listen to Lucas. This show, and Lucas specifically, is a real problem for Bussy's relationship with his wife. I think some of those quotes, some of the things that were said during our stream 2 weeks ago for Postgame Live, they've remained etched in my head. I'm going back to work for the first time tomorrow. I'm going to be completely knackered because I've got so much to do after we finish the show tonight. But I'm going to be talking about some of the stuff that went on, and people are going to be looking at me, shaking my head, going, "What the fuck's going on with your community?" But
I think that's the real case when everybody meets me. What the fuck are you doing and why are you here? Shannon Neal needs to get dropped to the twos.
Oh, there's the negative. There it is.
So,
and I sensed something was coming because you've had this great rock go on the whole time. And then you stopped. I'm like, oh, hang on. We've got something serious happening. He's taking a moment here. I
want Ollie Lord. Do whatever it takes to get Ollie Lord to this club. He's far better player than what Neil is right now. And
if we get the Shannon Neal, and admittedly, I'm mostly taking this at the word of everyone else so far because I haven't had a chance to go back and rewatch the game. But if we get the Shannon Neal of the last quarter, busting through packs, taking those contested marks, doesn't necessarily need to win them all the time, but is there competing and has that intensity that we saw from him in the last quarter, I've got no problems with his future at the Cats. But if it's kind of that lackluster half-effort sort of stuff that people are talking about, I think that's where the real problem is.
Yeah, he doesn't do it consistently enough. Past the forward 50, he can take those contested marks on the wing. We've seen that. But for some reason, he's allergic to taking marks inside the forward 50, which he's getting paid to do. He's in this team to do that. Another player that's been. I love this player, and this is very sad. It's very sad for me. So I'm going to take my hat off. Ollie Henry.
I knew this was coming, and because I've discussed him a lot tonight.
Yeah, it's time, And to Ollie Henry, whatever I say, whatever I did, I didn't mean it. I just want you back for good. But unfortunately,
and if there was others in the chat that weren't feeling the same way Spartacus is right now about the why the fuck are you stiff, seeing Lucas, of course, comment. Hopefully you've joined Spartacus now off the back of that stunning rendition there. I've already, I guess, had the opportunity to say my piece on Ollie Henry, but I will push back on you on that one. I think, don't get me wrong. Today, I think was a genuinely bad game for him. I won't argue this single performance, but I've been, for the most part, feeling pretty good about what he's offered. He's not been hitting the goals as much, of course. That number's obvious to all, but his score involvements, his goal assists, that figure has been really good. Or those two figures have been really, really good. And so I could kind of live with it while we're in this weird period where him Shannon Neal, but Shannon's got, I think there's, you rightly said it yourself, there's some intensity issues I think that need to be looked at. Him, Shannon Neal, and Tyson Stengel, I think have all struggled a bit in this Danger coming into the forward line and becoming a major focal point, period. And they're learning what needs to be done around him. I'm all for him remaining in the team right now. Because I don't think he benefits from it. I think he goes back to the VFL and does what Jack Ginnivan did, for example, on the weekend. He kicks 3 or 4 and lights it up and then comes back to the senior team and faces the same problem again. Because I don't think the problem's him, and I don't mean Dangerfield, Paddy Dangerfield is a problem, but it's a curveball for the forward line unit. And they're still working out how to gel with him in there. And that's just going to take some time. And I think him, as well as the others, are all better for sticking at it and working out what suits. And Danger is such a weird curveball because you can throw whatever plans you want at him as a Geelong coaching unit, let alone what the opposition coaches and teams need to do. You can throw everything you want at Danger and he'll just do his own thing and just bust through a contest and completely bring chaos to a forward line. So it's a tricky one, I think, for all of them. It's the right move for Danger to be there, but the rest are still learning to adjust, I think.
Oh, and he's having a Brownlow medal contending year.
It's crazy.
He was absolutely. He might get 3 votes again this week. He was absolutely fantastic. I said to you, I said to Ben last week, his goal kicking accuracy has gone up to a next level. Because there was a problem with it for the majority of his career.
It was the big weakness of his career.
Yeah, it's not a weakness anymore. You can trust him in clutch situations. So that at his age to improve a skill like that's a big thing. And he is the heart and soul of this club. Without Dangerfield, I don't know where we would be this year.
It's true. Yeah.
Could possibly be on 10 votes, 10 plus votes. Not that the Brownlows medal, he wouldn't give a shit about that. As long as they win a premiership, he wouldn't give a damn if he came last in that.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be a premiership captain now.
Yeah. But Bailey Smith, he could be on 10 plus votes. He's been absolutely incredible. And I don't have a problem with his giving the bird. Hey, Hawthorn, these one's for you and your fans. There's your 2 birds. I've got no problem with Bailey Smith doing that as long as he backs it up, which he's been doing. So he's been a fantastic recruit for us. I
sincerely hope the red shorts were still on, because if anyone freeze frames that and see, anyway, people can report back to me. I don't want to look.
Sammy Blur. I had the red. Jeez, I had to check. I had to check there for us. If anyone had a magnifying glass there, Paul would be all in big trouble.
Shit.
No, I've still got the shorts on. That's all right. Baz has been a hell of a recruit. Dangerfield's been fantastic. A little bit worried with Tom Stewart. Not as good today. But he's coming from. I don't think he's coming from a knee injury, but I don't think he's 100%. He's not 100%. But hopefully he will become 100% real soon, because we're playing a team that I don't know what the hell you're going to get from Carlton. We could beat them by 100 points, or we could lose by 100 points. I don't know what the hell you're going to get with them. They've won.
I still think we have every reason to believe that we're in the box seat. They've, and I mentioned this again before with Ethan, they've won 4 games of their last 15, and all 4 of those games were against either North Melbourne or West Coast. They've beaten them twice in that period. So they haven't beaten good quality opponents. That said, Spartacus, was that a doodle? They haven't beaten good quality opponents, but you never know. You're right. Their top half a dozen players, you could compare them to the top 6 at any club in the competition. They might be the best 6, regardless of position, just who they are and what they can offer. But it's hard to know.
I love it. I love it that it's at where is it at? Marvel?
It is. No, it's the G. No, we got the
Oh,
G.
G.
Back to back games at the MCG.
So that's a Carlton home game, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's good that we get to play Carlton at the G, especially when it's our home games. You know, it's not like they don't get to play in Geelong anymore. You know, which is complete bullshit. You know, and Collingwood as well. We play Collingwood, not at Cardinia Park. So that's again another
the Scott Pendlebury jokes, of course.
Yeah. But we get Essendon this year. I think, don't we? Do we get Essendon?
I'll double check. Keep going because we'll avoid the dead air in the meantime. But I'll double check that.
So you know,
it just gives more. To be fair, if there is dead air, it just gives more people time for people to just take in the glorious sight that is Coach Lucas.
Man, if they haven't switched off now, I've got no hope for them. I've got no hope for them.
We do play them twice, but the second game, which is then our home game. Oh no, this is GMHBA. So yeah, round 22 GMHBA.
Oh, good. So it's only taken 100 years to get Essendon down there. It's only taken them to stink for us to get them down there. So that's all right. You know, we won't get Hawthorn down here for 10 years now that they've become good again. But it's just a joke, this AFL. They say, well, you're going to get the big games in Geelong. What big games? What, against fucking Port? Against fucking St Kilda?
All the interstate teams and then St Kilda, Bulldogs North and Melbourne. That's
last time I checked all those teams, last time they won a grand final, VCRs were the main option. So...
To be fair, some of these Geelong absolutely sells to the takes to the MCG if it's a Geelong home game because it makes us more money. You get crowds like today, for example, for Geelong and Easter Monday. Yeah. That's far more profitable than a full house at GMHBA. So I do get it to an extent.
Do I need to bring up the prelim final against Brisbane, how that should have been in Geelong and not the MCG?
Yes. Yeah, I agree. But I mean, Brisbane, I guess in that one, I know we're not having a direct Brisbane argument here, but you could also have Brisbane saying, well, hang on, what about 2004 when they beat us in the prelim still, but that game should have been in Brisbane. We played them at the MCG.
Yeah. Another reason to have it in Geelong. Their record against Brisbane MCG is a little bit stingy compared to Geelong. I think it's been 20 years since they beat us in Geelong, isn't it? 20 years, something ridiculous.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah. So yeah, that's in the past. They're another wash team. They're not going anywhere. Yeah, we did lose to them, but you know, I'm confident if we played Brisbane this week, we'd smash them by 50 points.
I mean, if we played them this week, yeah, we'd do what Collingwood did because they were very heavy legs. There was no energy there with them at all.
Yeah, shot. You know, one hit wonders. You know, this should have been our dynasty. You know, we should have won last year. And you know, when we win this year, you know, it should be our dynasty. 2022, 23. Okay, we weren't that good. Last year should have won, and this year so that would have been 3 premierships in 4 years. That's a dynasty. But like I said, that's in the past. We have to move forward. And I'm very, very confident. As you can tell, I'm very confident that we're in the grand final already. We just need to maintain our injuries. Maybe drop Dangerfield. No, not drop, but rest him.
Shit, right. Drop him. His form's no good. Also, speaking of which, Bussy's just kind of highlighted a prayer card that he keeps in his wallet. It's a Paddy Dangerfield card going back to, that's a 2016 average that I'm seeing there. So going back to, I guess, 2017 then, which is pretty awesome.
Well, since just stay with me for a sec.
Oh, he's about to pull something.
Yeah. I've got this little thing here.
Oh, yeah?
Have I got it in here? There you go. There's a little Ollie Henry card.
Oh, very nice.
So that's from last year.
Keep him in the folder, just like we're going to keep him in the team.
Keep him. Yeah.
Keep
if it starts to go wrong, I'll get him out of the folder. But no, that's last year's card. But since you know the cards are bought out, I'll show you mine of.
Go for it.
Ollie Henry. I almost forgot his name there.
As long as that's all you're showing us, it's fine. Oh, Chris pops up and says, "I would rather David mention the forward line over Ollie Henry." That's rough.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, come on, Chris.
I like Menchie, but no, Ollie Henry. No, he won't. I don't think if the ball goes deep forward and he's in a 1-on-1, he's still not going to lose that contest. Is he in the form that he needs to be to maybe clunk it himself and then ultimately kick the goal? Maybe not, but I don't see him losing the contest. And right now, I'll take that when you've got I mean, obviously Myers is going to have a week or two off now, but when you've got the Myers, Stengels, Closes, Camerons, etc., all buzzing around in that area, and I just put Jeremy Cameron in the small forward category, buzzing around because he still plays like that. Ollie Dempsey on top of it, like I can deal with it, and he will find that form, and he will work out what it needs to look like with danger in that forward line like that. It's only a matter of time. They'll be working on this every single week to get that forward line blend right.
Look, like I said, I love Ollie Henry. He's he came to our club for nothing. I got a lot of shit on him from the fucking I'm sick. It is the most bullshit excuse. I can actually sympathise with Pie supporters on that one. I laugh in their face, but I can sympathise with the Pie supporters on that one. Yeah, 1 hour down the road. Hey, that's a real thing, you know. I'm moving to the. Oh, gee, okay. Gee, this segment's gone very wrong. Very wrong. That's not what I wanted. Not what I wanted at all, but thank you, I suppose. I actually did. No, there's there is no Mrs. Lucas actually. Hasn't been a Mrs. Lucas in 15 years. But I'd prefer single women, not married women. But sometimes beggars can't be choosers.
The husbands appreciate that too, because if they see Lucas coming, they're going, "Look at that guy, the rig, the footy cards, the glasses, and the sideways cap."
Yeah. He's an absolute nuffy, just a Geelong just nuffy.
I believe the phrase specimen has been used a few times throughout the show so far. There we go, the ultimate specimen.
From South Australia, as if I need to give them another bad name by doing this, looking like an absolute idiot. But it's all in good fun. I can. Hey, you're gonna do this. You're gonna cop your whack, and I can cop the rack big time. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm open to discuss anything. Television shows, gaming shows. I'm still waiting for a Pokemon game on Xbox. So
that's never going to happen.
Fuck you, Nintendo. Fuck you, Nintendo. Or never the Pokemon company. Never going to happen. So what else? Well, we got Forza coming on the PlayStation.
Is it already out, or is it just... No.
29th, I think. Which I actually bought Forza Horizon. Yeah, I bought Forza Horizon on the Xbox 2 or whatever it's fucking. What's the new one? Xbox Series X. So what a complete waste of time that was and money. Because I've rebought it again on the PS5. So that was just a fantastic waste of money. And getting that console
way more time playing it on PS5 than I ever did on the Xbox Series X. Yeah, game's out this week for people, but
thank you.
So
I'll look. Thank you, thank you, Microsoft. Next will be Starfield, and then I'll have to rebuy that game again.
You know, Oblivion's going to come out this week, right?
Yeah, Oblivion.
You've seen those numbers, the old Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, yeah.
Yeah,
that is about to stealth drop. Take it to the bank.
Yeah. What was the I believe in Skyrim. Well, Skyrim was already on the PlayStation anyway. I actually spoke to you about Far Cry Primal.
Primal, yeah.
Primal, yeah. I actually finished that, so I got all the trophies for that.
Got platinum on it.
Got platinum, yeah, absolutely.
At some point, we've got to, and I'll have to use the Discord thing to just use as an opportunity to share, like get everyone to share their PlayStation Network IDs or their Xbox things, or I don't know, your fucking Nintendo friend code or whatever the fuck they call it. Nintendo Network ID. Steam accounts, whatever it happens to be. We'll have to use the Discord at some point to share those details so people can party up or discuss Last of Us spoilers. Get your golf references out, everyone. Get your golf emojis.
The US
AFL,
Masters.
Play AFL 26 or whatever.
No, I don't actually play the AFL games.
I didn't play the last one. I was promised a code, and then the game tanked, and surprise, the code didn't come along. I'm pretty confident Ross Simmons isn't watching the video 2 hours and 40 minutes in, so I'm safe to take a dig.
I do like the Ultimate Team on it. What is it called? My Team.
Yeah, they're looking to do some cool things. They're looking to copy a lot of what the big names in NBA 2K and FIFA are doing. It's just down to execution, really.
Yeah, I actually used to be heavy in FIFA and 2K, but when I was about 14, 15 with FIFA 12, 13, that's when Ultimate Team is starting to really lift off. I used to invest at least $1,000 into it, like just on FIFA points, $1,000.
And then, of course, it all becomes irrelevant like 12 months later when the next game comes out, and then they get you to do it all over again.
Well, absolutely, and I think I stopped at FIFA 19. I haven't bought a FIFA game since FIFA 19 because it's not worth it. So, and same with 2K. Love the games, but you're only purchasing for that year. You're only purchasing cards, FIFA points for that year.
Redundant after that.
So it's a complete waste of money. I do have a Switch, and I've
gonna get a Switch too?
No, actually, this is a funny story. I'll show you this. I had no intention of ever getting a Nintendo Switch, ever.
Right.
I love the games. I used to have a Game Boy. I used to play Pokemon Crystal a lot. I used to do weird shit on there. Oh, goodness me! I'm glad it's past midnight where you are, mate.
I'm done. Oh shit!
But no, I've got.
I worry every time you walk off camera because you step away a little bit. So when you come back, I'm worried about what's in the frame when you return.
No, there it is.
Oh, switch light.
Yes. So I had no intention of actually getting this. This is unbelievable. I don't know if you're into ASMR.
Not particularly, but like I'm well across what it is, but I'm not. Yeah.
So I followed it. Yeah. Yeah. How the fuck did we get to this?
Who cares?
So
we're 2 hours and 40 minutes in.
It's past midnight where you are anyway, so all bets are off. I could strip naked and show everything. We won't.
You can't. YouTube still won't like that.
So it's up late with Lucas. Big brother up late with Lucas. But
finish talking about the Switch, and then we'll get to refuse TM's question.
Yeah, I subscribed to a particular ASMR artist, and they said, leave a comment in the description, for your chance to win. And fuck it, I won it. I actually won it.
How much have you used it?
No, I finished Pokemon. Problem is that she was from America, so the region code is a little bit fucked. But apparently Nintendo don't have a region. Yeah, so she had to order an Australian edition. And I got an email from her saying I thought it was an absolute joke. I thought I was getting punked. Until it turned up to my doorstep.
Switch arrived.
Until it arrived. So it came with Animal Crossing. I have not played that. So I bought Pokemon Shield. Just something with Nintendo. What the fuck are you? Why are your games so expensive? What the fuck? It's ridiculous.
Have you seen the price on the Switch 2 games? It's about to get worse. The Switch games are actually pretty reasonably priced for what they were.
I couldn't fucking believe it. But anyway, I bought
cheaper than a PS5 game. Still cheaper than a regular retail brand new PS5 game. So it's worse in America. Yeah. It's worse in America than it is for a PS5 game, but it's still better here for some reason.
So I bought Pokemon Shield. And because it's been a while since I played a Pokemon game, probably since Crystal or Gold, Crystal and Pokemon Leaf Red and all that.
Yeah.
Finished it. I finished it. Didn't catch all the Pokemon, but I finished the storyline. So bought Minecraft on here. Minecraft. Did some.
Are you been throwing chickens around in cinemas and being a cockhead?
I didn't go to that.
Fuck those kids.
Yeah, I didn't go to that sort of degree. This Switch needs to be charged. Surprise, surprise. Geez, what that is, I'll be playing the Switch while I'm talking to you. That'd be something. But no, I didn't. I'm not that into Minecraft to a degree. I'm going to go watch a movie and throw popcorn and go absolutely fucking mental in cinemas. But I bought it. I play along. I haven't played it for a while. I haven't bought the latest Pokemon game, which I think is 2 years old. I believe
it'll finally work when you play it on the Switch too, because it doesn't fucking work on the normal Switch. It's a piece of shit.
But no,
I don't appreciate your chicken jockey reference in the chat.
Yeah, chicken jockey. But yeah,
jockey.
But I won it. I had no intention of playing it. Had no intention of buying one. Hopefully, my dream of the Pokemon Company Nintendo releasing a game on the PlayStation and Microsoft would come true. But I guess no chance. How
about this one?
Anyway.
Pussy also asked before. Have you played Indiana Jones yet?
On Xbox. Yes, I have.
Played on Xbox.
Haven't finished it. I've got past the Egypt level, and I'm in the Himalayas.
You're about to get to Shanghai too, which has got an awesome sequence.
So I see. This is what when I play games, I'm a bit of a wanker when it comes to gaming. I actually like to collect trophies. Like to.
We all
like to collect. Like to collect achievements, trophies. So with the Indiana Jones game, I wait till I get 100% on the country before I advance. Which sometimes you can't do because you need equipment from other countries.
To go get stuff to then go back.
Yeah. But that's basically what I do. But when I play Call of Duty, I don't go straight into the multiplayer. I'll go blind eye straight into veteran mode. And I'll play the campaign from there before I even touch multiplayer, where some people just go, fuck it, I'm not even going to worry about the campaign, let's play the Warzone or whatever it's called. I'm not one of those people. I also look at trophies to see if they're gettable. I won't install a game. If I think,
That was the app. Make sure you use your PSN profiles to double check.
Like with Far Cry, I looked at the trophies on that and I thought that was pretty easy.
Had you played Far Cry before that? Because it's just the same.
Yeah,
map,
I have. Yeah, I finished. I played 2, which was Africa, I believe, and VATS in Far Cry 3. I actually got all the achievements in Far Cry 3 and 2. Didn't play 4. I skipped 4. And I skipped
4 and Primal just have the exact same map.
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, just reskinned.
I didn't know that because I never played Far Cry 4. I've played Far Cry 5 on the Xbox. I haven't played New Dawn, and I haven't actually played the new one, which was set in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
So I haven't.
Yeah, Cuba.
Oh, Cuba. Sorry, Cuba. So I haven't played those, but. Like I said to you, I think a couple of weeks ago, I play racing games. I'm a racer, so
get ready for Forza then.
Forza, Gran Turismo, Crew Motorsport. So that's kind of my genre. And used to be FIFA, but I've grew out of that. Too expensive, especially cost of living.
Yeah, it's crazy the sports games and the way they get, especially like young kids. And you obviously mentioned you're 12 and $1,000 and all that sort of stuff. Like the way they get young kids with the ultimate team and all those little systems, the RNG, the random number generator, random packs really.
It's
crazy.
gambling to a degree.
It is. It's 100% gambling, and that's a lot of. I think Belgium has actually been like the tip of the spear when it comes to considering this stuff actual official gambling, and you start to see these warnings on some of the packaging now here and everywhere. Like they should. They're exploiting kids.
Absolutely, and
the
getting
parents are dumb enough to link their credit card, I might add. But please, if you're a parent out there and you have kids with video games, do not if you use your credit card to buy them a game, fine, no worries. Do not leave it permanently connected because they all they're kids, and it's not even because they're being like deliberately stupid, but they see a thing, they are tempted by the thing, they will hit go, and you'll be down money before you know it. Please, make that transaction. Do not remember your card details though, because it'll come back to bite you on the ass. End rant from video game journalist.
Any chance you can make a Pokemon game for the Xbox?
It's not happening. No, journalist. I'm not a developer. I heard you mention developer actually. No, I don't make them. I know lots of people who make them. I've got friends. Yeah. I've got friends working on GTA, but
Gee, what took so fucking long with that game? Goodness me.
Why? No, to be fair, a large chunk of the team worked on Red Dead too. But why rush it? Why rush GTA 6 when you can just keep making money hand over fist from GTA 5? Take your time, nail it. And this thing's going to come out at the end of the year, and it's going to be enormous. This is going to be the biggest game launch of all time.
There goes my camera again.
I'm still so terrified.
Well, we'll move away to sports, and I'll start to wrap up because if you just joined our channel, we are supposed to talk about Postgame Live and not gaming, but what can we do? We've got two avid gamers here. So I'll give you my 3, 2, 1 from the game. Not greatest
Shannon Neal with the 3. I get it.
Yeah. Well, Crash Bandicoot would probably be 1 for me. But okay. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like it's fine.
What do you mean?
It's good. It's not like
good.
I say that, and I've literally, and I think I've referenced on this show. I haven't actually spoken about it on socials and those sort of things in front of my gaming community circle. I've just finished writing a book about Naughty Dog. I just finished it this weekend.
What a shame they went bust. That's probably the most tragic,
went bust
gaming company. Well, when they lost the Crash Bandicoot series.
Oh yeah, I mean they never technically had it, but yeah, it was a bit of a shame they lost that. But they did Jack and Daxter after that. That was awesome, and then they've done Uncharted, The Last of Us. Yeah, that's go-to stuff.
What was their last Crash Bandicoot game? Was it the go-kart racing one?
Oh, sorry, they did. Yeah, sorry, they team racing as well.
Yeah, I remember when I finished that, they kind of did like a behind the scenes of that game, like behind the scenes in their studio. But from memory.
Spartacus. That was most certainly a doodle.
Oh, you just have to take my word for it. 3, 2.
Yes, let's go to the 3, 2, 1.
All seriousness.
We're a serious buttoned-up show here.
Yeah.
Except Lucas, who's not wearing any clothes.
Is Cyril Cook still our sponsor?
Not anymore.
The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly.
Oh, fair. So, well, I might need to grab some flowers. So that definitely might need to grab some flowers for Ollie Henry. And I didn't mean what I said, Ollie Henry. No, I didn't mean what I say. So I'll get some lovely flowers. I'll get some lovely flowers from Cyril and send them down his way. 3, 2, 1. So 1 vote. I thought again, Tom Atkins. He doesn't get much credit, does he? He doesn't get anywhere near credit.
He's not the glamorous footballer. He doesn't play the flashy game, but you need him alongside your Max Holmes and your Paddy Dangerfields and your.
But he does it defensively. Like he's averaging 10 tackles a game. Like in all seriousness, he's averaging 10 tackles a game this season.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. I'm trying to give the votes here.
Might just have to hold them. Just hold them in place. Just hold the flowers covering the.
Oh, okay. I'm actually trying to think of players that actually played well in this game because I'm struggling now because I forgot.
Just thinking of bouquets of flowers trying to cover your dick.
from the lovely Cyril Florist. Not how we want to probably promote him, but if it gets in business,
they've long since stopped tuning into this show. I'm sure.
Well, if it does promote the business,
I'm more worried about for Postgame Live. I'm killing Ben's sponsorship here.
Oh, you're not going to do any American Pie references here. We're not up that late.
I hadn't even considered that.
Moving on,
right.
one vote to Tom Mack. Tom Mack, I guarantee I won't be wearing a pie. One vote to Tom Atkins
today.
I'll give him 2 votes, but because he hasn't been mentioned. But Reece Stanley today, he was great. His last 2 weeks has been fantastic. He's been competing. He's been going up forward, kicking goals, taking contested marks.
Yeah, I think he's done a great job.
Well, I'm going to give him a bit of love and give him 2. I could give it to Max Holmes, but I'm going to give Stanley some love. I did whip Stanley a lot last year. I said that he should retire, but he's proven me wrong. So I'm going to give him 2 votes. Probably should give it to Max Holmes, but anyway. And 3 votes. There's no brainer with this one. Patrick Dangerfield. Again, sorry, Baz. Probably again should give you 2 votes, but I'll give Stanley. But yeah, Patrick Dangerfield. In fact, you know what? I'll give it a Baz because I've gave Dangerfield 3 votes last 2 games because he's been absolutely fantastic. So 1 Tom Atkins, right? 2 Stanley and 3 to Bazza. Probably should be Dangerfield, but you know what? He's having a Brownlow medal year. Dangerfield, he'll get more votes. Trust me. So that's my 3, 2, 1. And who we got next week, Carlton? Oh yeah, we'll absolutely smash them. No. If Broader Blue are watching this, don't bother coming on next week.
Since tuned out, they go, these clowns are supporting Geelong. Don't worry about it.
Has there been any?
Oh, I can't have Paul on any content ever. Look at what he does.
Trust me, don't come on next week. Has there been any Hawthorn people from their podcast trying to come in?
You'd have to ask Ben that. I'm not sure if there's ever been. I don't believe we've collaborated with anyone that supports Hawthorn, but I'm not sure if it's because no one's reached out or Ben hasn't reached out. I'm not too sure the reasons why. I guess in that one. Whereas, Terry, Pommy, those guys, they've been amazing for years. I think rightly kind of upset a few of them last year when I made a comment. I think it was in Enough of the Week where I called someone weak, and it was just poor. It was poor wording on my part, but it was rightly criticised. But that was about it.
Like I haven't said any poor wording things on this show before. But
this is live. Stuff just happens, right? Suddenly your dick's out. Like,
fuck, man.
Sorry, people. If you want that, you've got to go to Lucas's OnlyFans.
Oh, all right. Come on now. I would sell my soul before I'd even do that shit.
All those people on OnlyFans are selling their soul. That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah,
as well as their asshole.
Yeah. I don't want to disrespect women, but no.
Well, it's not just women.
Yeah, man. I got a better chance of coaching Geelong next week before I get an OnlyFans account. I can guarantee you that. But I'm glad there's no Hawthorn dickheads on today's podcast because I don't want to see them. I don't want to hear them. Now I've got this little rivalry going with a certain St Kilda podcast. Which one? The red, black and white. with the girl. If she is watching,
Oh no!
so we can show our own married at first sight. I called her a wanker.
Smooth moves.
When she came on. Yeah, and it's been going on since then. So apologies, but sure, it's a sure thing. Don't know how it's going to work. You're a St Kilda player. You're still your TV's probably still black and white. I'm more the 21st century, but we'll give it a go. But fuck the Hawks. But to everyone in the comments, Jared,
we're sorry. We're so sorry.
Oh yes, Kiri. Yeah, now we got to be. Can I be serious?
Take a moment. Yes, take a moment for the serious stuff because I'm pretty sure I know where you're going with this.
So, geez, I couldn't take off my hat there. It's been a good night, hasn't it?
This serious bit is starting really well.
Oh, it's great. No, in all seriousness to Kiri, we do wish him the best for what's happened, and he's a really good person. I love. Yeah, he's a really good person, and I've met him at Gather Round. So I met him before that, but I went to Gather Round with him. And he's a great kid. I love that kid. So my deepest condolences to your family and to yourself. And I hope you do get better, mate. But no, to the other comments, Jezelenko, Jared, Bussy, keep supporting me. Keep taking the absolute PIIS on me. PISS, sorry.
Don't worry about the spelling. I'm a maths teacher. I won't pin you for your English.
Oh, don't ask me about maths.
I just finished writing a book, but anyway, go figure.
Oh fuck, man, jeez. You're trying to show me a what here?
No, it's just a nice thing that my head of maths has been able to throw at our English department for years because they go, look, you don't rate us in this written word sort of thing, but also we've got an author here, a documented author. What have you got? And it tends to shut the English department up pretty quickly, which is great.
Well, I did. I back at high school. When was that? When was I in high? Gee, I don't even know when I was in high school. Fuck me. Did I ever go? 15 years ago. I went to high school. All right. It's just that when I was supposed to be doing English, maths, agriculture, I was in a cricket net, trying to play for South Australia. And in the end, I got suspended so many times that they just fucking didn't even worry about me. They just let me bowl the net all day.
Go for it, mate.
So I just fucking they said, fuck it, just you in the net again. I said, oh well, yeah. Got a funny story actually. I was actually playing district in the
Yes.
Huh? Yeah, we gave the votes yet. Atkins, Stanley, Dangerfield. But I've got a funny story here. So I was in an academy for a district team. So our district team is one below state level. Yeah. So it's better than the average suburban team, whatnot. During what do they call sports thing? What do they call the sports lessons?
PE.
PE. Sorry, Pete. Fucking hell. Tells you how well I'm going, mate. So during.
No, I'm paid to know.
Yeah, during PE lessons, we did cricket. I didn't actually want to show up because if I showed up, like if I performed, I would be picked for Saturdays, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to play Saturdays for my district camp, so I pretended to be shit. So I would bowl wides, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. One guy sledged me. One little fucking arrogant little prick sledged me, and you know what? I said I'm not copping this no more. I'm not copping this no more. I think he said, "Oh, I can bat with you again with no helmet on." So he took his helmet off, and I thought, "All right, I thought, let's play. We can play now." I went back to my full run-up. He thought I was having an absolute laugh.
It's the Australian fast bowler. There you go.
Yeah, and I absolutely bowled I bowled it, and it bowled short, and I thought, fuck, I'm going to absolutely kill this guy here. And he just ducked, and it got his shoulder. And actually, fucked up his shoulder. I think he broke in his collarbone.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, sorry, mate. Came out wrong." Well, I wasn't sorry at all. So don't push me back then. Back then, I was in my prime. I didn't have a fucking fat gut like this. I had a girlfriend back then. I was trying to get into the state. I was one tier below state as a 19-year-old. Had a girlfriend. I'm going to share this information. Had a fiance.
Oh.
I was actually going to marry her, but I chose a cricket path. You get the idea, which was very sad. She'd left another state for a job. I didn't join her, which was pretty tough on me. I actually quit the sport for 6 years. Didn't want to play it, which fucked me up a little bit. But anyway, there's a first for you. I'm okay now. I'm not going to start crying now.
I mean, right now we're about to, take the blowtorch to another relationship, though. Bussy just says the wife rolled over. No more sexy times. I don't care. I'm listening to the goat that is Lucas.
So I was engaged. I brought her the ring and everything. But yeah, I look at it now. I'm a 33 fat fucking single tub of shit. Trying to lose my weight, trying to get back in the state team, drinking the LA Ice Cola,
and having given us the best hour of post-game live so far. I think you're succeeding.
Oh, as you can tell, I'm doing so hard to lose weight and get back into grade 1 cricket. I'm trying so hard. But there's some personal information.
A little nugget.
But you know what? I love our community. I love the Hoops crew. I love all the people that give me comments, take the piss out of me. That's all right. That's completely fine. No, I try to put on a happy face. Spartacus. The Spartacus?
Spartacus. Bussy is now climaxing thanks to Uncle Lucas, who just knows how to get the job done, just like Geelong. You are marvellous, Lucas.
And I'll tell you what, I even shaved my chest. Because I'll tell you what, Veet. That's the greatest product in the world. That's not a sponsor. But
it could be.
It could. Yeah, right. Could. Yeah. I don't need it. Here's an X-rated comment. I don't need to shave anything downstairs. Trust me. But
I'll leave it alone. I think everyone's seen already, right? When the camera fell.
Well, I seriously hope not. No, I was confident I'm wearing my Louis Vuitton silk red shirt. It's red short and panty night. If anyone wants to join. But no, I'll wrap this up because gee, this is getting uncharted territory here. But no, thank you all the comments, all the sponsors, and all the people in there, and I really do appreciate it, Paul. And fuck them Hawthorn players, fuck them, fuck the Carlton players, fuck everyone else that's not Geelong. And to Connor Nash, mate, like I said, lucky it's not in Adelaide, mate. You'd be a one-way ticket to Snowtown, buddy. I hope you get 10 weeks for that dog act. But everyone else, have a happy week, or what is it? It's Monday. Well, it's Tuesday. It's technically Tuesday. Fuck me. We got to. When's our next game? Shit. What are we playing? Saturday? Are we playing on Saturday night?
Sunday, 3:20.
Sunday. Fucking hell, it's only 5 days away. Jesus. Two days ago, it was 7 days away. When this podcast started, it was 2 days away. Fucking hell. So anyway, I do appreciate it, Paul, and to everyone out there.
Thanks for coming aboard.
Stand by Geelong. Stand by me. I won't cry. No, I won't cry. I won't shred a tear as long as you stand by me. Thank you, everybody.
Play Forza this week, mate. All right. Lucas has been energetic, as always. congratulations, everyone. You may or may not have seen his dick at some stage. It's been quite a time. All right, I'm also going to use this as the moment where I sign off because I've got to watch a match of football again. I've got to record a match reaction. I've got to watch The Last of Us, and I've got to do that before 6 a.m. when my kids wake up. It's going to be a long night. Thank you, everyone, for having tuned in tonight. Please make sure to check out my match reaction. It will go live tomorrow morning. You'll get the opportunity to see that. It will be done. One way or another, it will be done. If you haven't already, Enough of the Week, I didn't bake that into the Paul James show the other night. I'm kind of experimenting with the format of it a little bit. The number of people watching the show has dropped significantly this year. It's about the only thing that's kind of been going downhill numbers wise for us. So I'm trying to experimenting with a few ideas, concerned that maybe by airing it during the Paul James show, it's maybe cost us some opportunities to get more eyes and more conversation going about it through its dedicated video. So please, if you haven't already, I put together Enough of the Week. It is about Noah Bolter and the Richmond situation. That's there for people to check out. Consider taking a look. Otherwise, we've got a whole range of Hoops Crew content to come this week. The chaps, as I mentioned earlier, were recording their show whilst this one was on. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. My match reaction will go with it. Ben will have just the tip. The footy tips for the week for round 7. Don't believe in the system. Anyway, a whole lot more. The content will keep on coming. The Paul James show is back on Thursday. That's when you'll next see me live, where we'll review again. We'll be stretching a little bit at that point, but we'll review the Geelong and Hawthorn game. And then Cast and I will be back in kind of a normal routine again with Gather Round, My Holiday, and now Easter Monday all behind us. We'll be back into a normal routine. We'll preview Geelong and Carlton and the rest of the games of that round. Thank you, everyone, for having tuned in tonight. As always, it's an absolute pleasure to have you all on board. We'll leave the show tonight with the simple question that I think we were all asking when Lucas said it, from Bussy, saying, why don't you need to shave downstairs? Enjoy, everyone. Thank you all for watching. Remain Geelong strong. We got the job done against the Hawks today by 7 points, and it feels oh so good. I'll see you later.
It's time for the show. Dropping pussy down facts, mitts, forwards and backs. Representing G-Town while talking the smack. Crashing backs like Patty, where the hell you at? Hoops crew are exploding, don't ever look back. Then we got Paul, yeah, he knows his stuff. He's a man, he's a myth, taking on the nuffs. The man don't miss, he loves to react. His words cut deep, he's a counterattack. Balls on fire, brings a mic to life. Don't fuck with P-Dog if you value your life. Oh, they fuck shit up, yeah, they run G-Town. The Hoops Crew's here and they'll never back down. Jake, Johnny, Sambo, always rocking the game. Betty and Paul, man, remember the names. In the studio, Jake's bringing the noise. With Johnny and Sambo, the chaps chat boys. They're electric and they're ready to roll. The boys are on fire and they're taking control. Recaps and previews, yeah, they cover it all. Part of the Hoops Crew with Betty and Paul. They fuck shit up, yeah, they run G-Town. The Hoops Crew, baby, they'll never back down. Jake, Johnny, Sambo, always rocking the game. Betty and Paul, chasing glory and fame. Brad with the sleeves, Max Holmes and Jack Bose. Tommy fucking Atkins, he'll break your damn nose. Stewie in the middle, and Reese in the ruck. They see Big Jezza and they know they're fucked. They're the T-Town boys, go hard or go home. They're fucking